I got the clap and I'm giving it to you.
Hello and welcome to the Warrens. Thank you for the selling introduction, Fred.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming to the Warrens again. Fred's got, what is it, chlamydia? What is the clap short for? It's chlamydia, right?
It is gonorrhea.
Why do they call it that? Why do they call it gonorrhea?
The
clap. What is it? Does it make a clapping sound? What is that?
I don't know.
You get a standing ovation every time you contract it. Yeah, you had sex. Let's go. Yeah. That's the good news. You ready for the bad news? I feel like we're spending too much time on this. So we're joined this time
we
by
cannot.
Ryan.
You please do not open this podcast.
Hey, this is up. It's up to
gonorrhea,
Ryan. This is
Ryan.
all up to Ryan.
Yeah, I'm the
Ryan,
editor.
please,
I'm in
I beg of
position
you
of
to
unique
not.
power.
I beg of you
You
to
know
not.
you got to use this, right?
Yeah,
You know
it's
you
just
gotta
being
use
used.
all this. You know you got it.
I beg of you. I beg of you to. I'm not putting it on my channel.
The beg has been registered. We'll see what happens.
That's like the ultimate veto. He can just not upload this.
It is, yeah.
I'll make a Twitter
He can,
post about how Fred is holding Warrens because Fred doesn't want people to know about his disgusting STD situation.
podcast drama. Here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Probert and I'm joined today by Jabroni Mike.
I think you were going to do Fred first. I had a mouthful of tea. Hey guys, thanks for listening today.
and
And
I'm
then
here
probably
too.
Fred. And then-
Sorry,
Oh,
it
just
just
a bit.
said it
Also
like the
me.
end.
Hi, I'm a guest on my own channel now.
We took advantage of a brief Fredrik absence and I just shouted the introduction, so now I own the channel.
look at me.
Who am I?
I am the fat nuts now.
Full disclosure, before we started recording, I mentioned how today it's been 48 years since the Happy Days episode featuring Jumping the Shark aired.
Yeah.
And I think that might be appropriate because you've already, in desperation, added a third character to the show. Now we're going to truly jump the shark.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, Mike, let me ask you, have you ever exaggerated a story?
No, I've never exaggerated anything in my life.
Never exaggerated on a resume?
Not even right now. Not even in this moment. Never. Ever. Ever.
So you never exaggerated on a resume?
Yeah, okay. Guilty as charged, but find me someone who hasn't done that, right?
Never exaggerated in an interview or while
It's
you're
one of
streaming?
those that is one of those universal. Well, we'll get to streaming, but in terms of resumes and interviews, I think that's one of those unspoken, allowances, right? Like
You're expected to.
Exactly. Like I think even the person interviewing you or the potential employer knows that there's going to be a little bullshit sprinkled in there, right? They expect it, and they wouldn't even blame you for it, right?
They expect it.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that a lot of employers think that if you aren't lying on your resume, you don't want it bad enough.
Right. Yeah. It's almost like a little suspicious, right?
Right. Yeah. It's like, you're being honest? Really? I remember hearing a great piece of advice while I was growing up. Never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Sure.
And that doesn't necessarily mean to lie through your teeth,
No.
right? Like the meaning of that is maybe you fudge exactly what people were saying, or maybe you add that there was a pregnant pause, right? Like to add drama or humor, right? Like those little tweaks to a story to make them more exciting or funny. It's not really a lie. You're just kind of enhancing the story, right? Like don't
Truth
directly
enhances.
lie, but you can fiddle with it.
You call it like an embellishment. Like you're not going to sit here
Yeah,
and
a
make
little bit.
things up, but you're going to say, well, what if it's almost like a bit of a shift in perspective.
So let me finish this introduction now. So you've
sorry, I'm sorry.
exaggerated on a resume. You've
Really?
So I feel like I'm opening a show now. Ladies and gentlemen, you've exaggerated on a resume. You've exaggerated on a resume. You've exaggerated in interviews. You maybe exaggerated on stream. Have you ever had your father produce a documentary exaggerating your achievements?
Oh my God, is this about Tommy Tallarico? Oh wait, that was his mother.
Not
He
far off.
made his own documentary.
It is.
Not far off.
They didn't tell me what the topic is. I'm trying to guess.
Well,
I've been trying to guess this whole time.
well-
I was like, is it the Fonz?
No, it's not
You
the
know,
Fonz.
Mike, you have never heard of this in your life, and guess what? Neither has anybody else.
Except like 5 other composers.
like 5.
So you're
people,
going to I'm going to play this in one go, and I just want you to imbue the information, Mike. Bearing in mind
All right,
what
I'll
I've
be
just told
watching.
you.
Unlike its pop counterpart, where new talent is dispensed with as readily as it's welcomed, for a composer to break into the world of classical music, it is as difficult as it is rare. For one young composer, however, the buzz surrounding his latest work is getting harder and harder to ignore.
This project is a new and exciting programme of sporting music called Turning Point, where sport and music come together. I'm passionate about music and I'm passionate about sport, and since nothing has really been written for the sporting community, I've decided to put this programme together.
Bolton Browne was just 10 years old when his first orchestral work was premiered, and since then he has produced a steady output of organ, ensemble, chamber and larger orchestral pieces. But it's this latest work that's really starting to cause a stir, suggesting that it's only a matter of time before he's recognised as a major force in classical music composition.
This project is a 2-hour concert programme of sporting music, which consists of an Olympic overture, an equestrian concerto for cello and a Yachtmaster symphony. Ever since London won the 2012 Olympics bid, I've wanted to write something for the Olympics. And the Olympics overture is really a story of a young boy who goes from mischief maker to gold medalist. The piece begins in a playful mood, because as you know, all sport begins as play in childhood, and through development and training, we reach a triumphant conclusion. I've grown up in the New Forest, where there are horses everywhere, and since I love the horse as an animal, it would seem an obvious choice to write a piece about it. I wrote this for cello because it's a very versatile instrument and can produce a wide range of lovely sounds. Yachtmaster is inspired by my own yachting experience and Britain's glorious nautical heritage. The piece is written in 4 movements: rising mist, underway, chasing the wind and crossing the line. Every yachtmaster will know what these mean and what it means to his journey.
Inspired by his Olympic heroes and written in part as a tribute to the current crop of young solo round-the-world sailors, Turning Point is a body of work that clearly defines Bolton's passion for sport, his timely observations on the world around him, and his overriding desire to secure a connection between classical music and sporting achievement. A marriage he sees as blindingly obvious, yet sadly overlooked.
This country loves sport, and I'm quite frankly astounded that nothing has ever been written for the sporting community before.
Earning praise from conductors and musicians in such hallowed quarters as the Royal Academy of Music, Turning Point offers orchestras and sponsors an unprecedented opportunity to be associated with a body of work inspired by excellence, and that is at once topical, inspirational, and, perhaps most importantly, written by a gifted composer who is first and foremost a young sportsman, keen to bring his beautifully crafted classical music into the sporting arena, and thus to a new, vibrant, and ever-changing young audience.
Man, this kid's really impressive.
Yep. What are your initial thoughts, Mike?
Oh, so how old is he? He's 10? He looks a little old for 10.
So
no, they said since he's 10 years old, right?
he wrote his first piece when he was 10, or was performed to his
that's
first
what they
10.
said, right.
I think.
So he's, I mean, that's a lot of achievement for one kid. That's really impressive. He's like a prodigy then, huh?
Yes, like all great composers, he's a prodigy. Just ignore the ones who weren't prodigies. So I think Bolton is 17 here. So I don't want to make fun of Bolton. This is about the whole the whole operation. So this is a project I'm going to refer to as MusicOlympia. What I think this is, and I have never been able to confirm this, but I think this was the beginning of a crowdfunding campaign or attempt to raise sponsorships to have this piece performed. Now, there's some things I really love about this video. And I'm going to make a reference to something that Fred is probably the only American to understand this reference. Do you know who Foggy Dewhurst is, Fred?
Foggy Dewhurst. Maybe?
Do you remember Last of the Summer Wine?
Yeah, no, of course I know Last of the Summer Wine.
He's dressed just like Foggy Dewhurst.
Yes, no, yes, I remember this character. He's dressed
exactly like him in this video. And in the show, Foggy Dewhurst is an elderly man.
Yeah, that's the exact same get up with the cane and everything. Do you think that's intentional?
Yeah, with a cane.
It's gotta be intentional.
Yeah, no, of course it's not intentional. This young sportsman who walks with a cane and dresses like a pensioner.
Maybe he's got a knee problem. I mean, you could have a knee problem.
I don't think he does. He certainly isn't walking like he has one. I don't know. Like, from my unprofessional point of view, I don't think he needs a cane. I think that he is trying to invoke a certain visual style, right? The way he's being described is as extremely British, inspired by British excellence and
there's patriotism.
The nautical history of Britain. Yeah, it's patriotic. And as we all know, it's patriotic to dress up like a man from a niche, like, regional sitcom.
From the 70s.
Yeah, like Foggy Soggy Bottom.
Foggy Soggy Bottom.
So, have you heard the music?
Well, that's the thing. One of the things that drives me most up, about this whole thing, and there's more.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard a substantial amount of the music.
Oh.
We will listen to what samples I've been able to track down. But this isn't the only thing associated with Bolton Browne. And quickly, things kind of go slightly off the rails here. This is Bolton, by the way. There's a portrait of Bolton here.
He looks... Look, I don't know. Maybe it's an okay portrait, but he was not drawn flatteringly. His eyes were clearly made to look a little bit wider to make him look more childish, but then they pasted ham around them.
Pasted ham.
So one thing I should say about this video is it's like being cropped to 4:3 from widescreen. Yeah. So that's why he looks like an Enid Blyton drawing. That's why he looks so long and spindly.
Yeah, he's long. I thought the horses rubbed off on him. Yeah, I gotta say, how much I love this one scene right here, because I'm imagining, based on the context clues here, is his father put him up to all this. I don't know to what degree he's enjoying this or wanting to be a part of this, but he put him in this outfit. He's got him. He's like, walk through the field. Obviously this isn't candid. They came out here to do this, right? And he's walking through this field, and he's like, Poppy, I stepped in horse shit. Keep walking. I didn't ask if you stepped in horse shit. Keep moving.
Maybe
this has
we need to get this shot.
Maybe a horse bit him. I was bitten by a horse growing up.
Oh, he got bit right on the knee.
Oh my god.
He used to be what was it? What's the Skyrim thing? I used to be a what?
Adventurer.
I used to be an adventurer.
And he got bit on the knee.
I was thinking Holy Grail. A moose bit my sister once.
How do you get in a situation where a moose bites you? Come on, Monty Python. That's not realistic at all. Monty Python jumped the shark with that one. Ryan, my question is this. This is obviously his father, because of the way you opened this up, is making this video to kind of sell his son, make his son look impressive and get attention, and this is fake it till you make it, right?
Essentially, yes.
Which is valid.
This might be one of the most extreme examples ever, because there is more, like I said.
Was this whole thing a pack of lies? Just all lies top to bottom?
Well, that's the thing, is it is the truth stretched to its most extreme.
To the point it's transparent. I, as a composer, know that, You can't lie to me and tell me that some of this just doesn't make sense. It's clearly bollocks.
Right. There are a lot of lines in there that stand out to me. The one that really made me giggle when I first saw this, I think, was the line, music inspired by excellence, not music that is excellent or made by someone who like makes excellent things, but music that is inspired by excellence.
It's a little bit of a nothing statement, huh?
Right, like, I mean, someone watching a football game and throwing their hands up in the air, spilling their beer all over the bleachers is also inspired by excellence. That doesn't make his conduct excellent, right? Like, it means nothing.
There's one really important thing I want to like emphasize is he mentions how there's nothing been written for the sporting community before, and that's just simply not true. There's loads of pieces written for the sporting community.
I'm sure.
That is just a lie.
And it makes you look foolish when you say that, because people are like, I can think of loads of pieces.
Yeah.
And his pieces aren't like integrated in with sport in a really interesting way. Interestingly enough, when the Olympics did happen, which is now 13 years ago in the UK, I saw loads of pieces, new and old, that were integrated with sport in a really interesting way, where the performance of the sport was interacted with the performance of the music. So it's simply not true. It's something like John Williams's Olympic Overture. It's just as sport themed as this piece of music. It's just about sport.
Right. It feels insane to even say what this man is saying, because one of the most memorable parts of the Olympics consistently is the music. Right? Like the not just the Olympic fanfare, but the way that music is integrated into all of its events at all times. Yeah. When he says that he is surprised that there has never been music inspired by sport, it comes across as someone who has no idea what the fuck they're talking about, because they've never bothered to look.
I mean, look, that was impressive to me. You know why? Because I don't watch the goddamn Olympics. I have no idea. I'm like, oh, is that true? Oh, okay. Yeah, sure, do that then. Okay, cool. Yeah, good idea. But, of course, it's been done.
Also, he says he loves the horse as an animal, which is very funny.
Yeah. I love the horse as an animal. Bolton Browne.
So wild. You know what I thought was interesting? We're hearing the music that he composed in this video, obviously, right?
Yes.
I would hope at least that.
Right, but like not mixed very well. Like they're using MIDI instruments for it, but they haven't really gone to the trouble of mixing it very much.
It's not like a real, like, it's not a proper MIDI realization. It's the kind of standard one that comes with your notation software, which is very basic.
Yeah.
They were talking about the music that he wrote for, I don't know, equestrian sport.
Equestrian
and
concerto.
I noticed there was some percussion in it that sounded like hoof clapping. And I was like, oh, that's neat.
I think what I'll say is we'll listen to some more of Bolton's
maybe
music.
A bit contrived and stupid, but sorry, what did you say?
Well, we'll listen to more of Bolton's music, and I'll give you like my assessment as somebody who teaches composition. But I don't think it's like dreadful, but I think it's okay. But I think that's the problem. It's okay.
Yeah, it's serviceable. It's like he's not a prodigy, and that's not a bad thing, you know? Like, the
not everybody
vast
needs
majority...
to be a prodigy.
Right. Well, I think that people hear of Mozart, and they think that they have... Or they see, you know, great chess players, right? And they figure they have to be prodigies if they're going to amount to anything, when that is patently not the case.
I think the damage Mozart's story has done to, like, the study of classical music is really fascinating, because there's a very much an encouraged legend. I won't say myth, but a legend. His father was Leopold Mozart, who was a composer, obviously a very successful composer in his day, who made a great deal of money out of his son and daughter as touring performers. So it'd be natural for him to promote his son as a composer. He had his father was a composer, and there's loads of composers who are really successful whose father were composers. Louis Andriessen, who recently-ish passed away, his father was a composer, and he was probably Europe's most important living composer, definitely the Netherlands' most important living composer. It's a huge advantage to have a father who teaches you composition. But it's the idea that he certainly was a prodigy, but he was in an environment which really you have the best chance of being a prodigy in. He grew up surrounded by music, studying music, with a father whose business was music. Obviously, he was good at music. And
the deck was completely stacked in his favor in terms of his life. It's
like in terms of life, maybe, but it's more that he was completely surrounded by it and he happened to have an interest in it. And like interest and accessibility is really important. In fact, I kind of question the idea of a prodigy on its face. I think that children who are assumed to be a natural at something are actually just very, very interested. Like children have very plastic brains. And so if they really get super focused in on something and really like something and spend all their time thinking about it, well, I mean, if anyone did that, they get really good at something, right? Like that's not just children, that's adults, that's anyone.
It's just when you're a child, right? As you said, like, you know, you have that elastic brain, you have that bigger that aptitude towards learning and absorbing and picking up on things, you know, before you become like old and jaded and angry. But like you're questioning the idea that there's something inherently inside you, whether it be genetic or mental or something, even if you want to be real stupid, spiritual, that inclines you to be like, you come out the womb and you're like, oh, I'm destined to be a great composer. Like that's
right.
Of course that's stupid. Think, yeah, like you're not wrong, Fred. Like of course that's dumb.
I question it. I believe that there are people who are talented at something, but talent runs out really fast. Like you, pretty soon it has to be replaced by skill, and skill is only acquired through practice. I think like one of the great examples of this is Bobby Fischer. Everyone like Bobby Fischer is one of the greatest chess players to ever grace the earth, right? And everyone looks at him and says, "Oh, he was a child prodigy because he went to and he was like beating these grand masters and like kicking their asses." And they were like, guys, we're getting our asses kicked by this kid. And so all they saw was this kid who was, you know, insanely good at chess. What they didn't see was that practically every waking moment of his life as a child was spent like doing chess puzzles and studying literally every chess book that he could get his hands on. He did nothing else. Like when he was in the bath. Yeah, when he was in the bath, he had like a holder for a book and for like a little chessboard so he could practice chess, right? Like that's the extremity of it. He was an eccentric person, but like it's not like he just looked at a chessboard and said, "I now know every opening." Like that's insane.
That's insane.
No,
that's you would be insane to think that.
But like he was good because he was just dedicating practically every waking moment to thinking about chess, and frankly, probably a lot of his sleeping moments too.
I say with music as well, it's very scientifically debunked that there's like any integral musical intelligence of a person. You don't come out the womb ready to make music. And I think, like, without going all Lisa Simpson here, that Mozart worked really hard to study composition. He poured his life into it in a lot of ways. And I'd say even more so, I think one of the things that really offended me as a composer who, like, I had a big performance once as like a pre-concert to a CBSO concert. Is my orchestral work I did called Matai, which is named after the Italian B-movie director. But anyway, who also directed some disgusting films, even though it's a pretty piece. And I remember somebody came up afterwards to me and said, "It's a wonderful gift God's given you." And I almost bitch slapped that woman. Like, fuck you. I've been to university for 6 years. I have a master's degree. Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, this was a gift. There were times where I really doubted I had what it took to be a composer.
Absolutely.
And it's so offensive. It's like, imagine if you were a cyclist, like you were racing in the Tour de France, and somebody was like, "It's a wonderful gift God's given you."
Oh, no. This wasn't a gift from God. This was a gift from pharmaceutical companies and their lovely, lovely steroids.
My Italian doctor has helped me in that department.
So basically, point being, there's a degree of, you know, maybe aptitude that you have for something naturally, but it's relatively small in comparison to, again, being around something, taking a real interest in it, and then putting the time and attention into it.
Right, you live it. And like I was kind of dare I say, a victim of this mindset. I was one of those students who was identified as, oh, you're so, like, what, tag, they called it, like, talented and gifted, and we're going to put you in special programs. And it's like, man, talent runs out really fast.
There's a whole conversation being had about the, quote unquote gifted kids, how telling them that type of shit was just not good for them.
Oh,
it wasn't good for them.
It fucked.
Oh, hugely.
Well,
it fucked you
fucked
up.
with my it fucked with my self-worth, right? Because they tell you, oh, you're talented and gifted. Well, then suddenly the bar for adequate is raised way higher. And if ever you don't meet it, I'm speaking personally, if ever I didn't meet it, if I ever messed up, if I ever made a mistake, I was falling short of expectations when making mistakes is an integral part of learning. And I strongly suspect that there was a fair bit of damage done in that way. And if anything, it stunted me.
Right. Yeah. And then the world comes at you fast. You experience reality, you experience the adult world, and you realize, maybe I did start at the same place as everybody else. Maybe that, wait a minute. Oh, shit. But this runs counter to everything that I believed about myself, everything that people had told me about myself. Right. And then it's like this, you have to reconcile this gap. And it's kind of ugly.
Bukowski said that talent is cheap. It's a cheap commodity. And I think that's a really good way of looking at it. And if this is like a gifted child who kind of, I wouldn't say crashed out, but like, this is like the gifted child story made manifest.
Well, I want to ask you, Ryan, I'm assuming we're going to get to where he is now.
Well, I don't know quite where he is now, but we'll see where I could trace up to. But
I feel like the fact that you don't know where he is now and can't track him down speaks volumes.
Yeah. Shit. Well.
Oh, I stopped on this still because this is Bolton receiving a gifted child award or something like that.
Wow. So, high expectations for himself. Never mind his parents, his family. Never mind whatever societies he's involved in now that his parents involved him in. It's high expectations for himself.
Yeah, and so I think like there are two different routes that a kid who is treated this way can go. Either they become extremely self-critical, that was the route that I went down, or you end up with a kid with just the most bloated ego, insufferable, if they succeed,
nightmare.
yes, if they succeed, it is in spite of all of this like pampering that they received, this emotional
what I
pampering.
think that dynamic may explain some of what you might call, I don't know, skill gap with achievement. You know how you go through life and you see people that are doing really well for themselves in their chosen fields, and they're just not good at it by your estimation, right?
Yeah.
Those are people who, the failing upward thing. I think they just believe in themselves so much that they manifest the success regardless of their actual ability in certain areas.
Confidence will get you so far on its own.
Yeah, genuinely. It's a crazy thing. And it guess sort of goes back to that fake it till you make it. Like maybe, in your smart brain, like, okay, like guys, I'm not that good at this thing. No, these people don't have that. They don't believe that.
Right. Well, there's
they never will believe that.
Well, I mean, there's the concept in especially the film industry of the big break. All I need is my one chance to prove myself, right? Really, all it takes is one opportunity. And I think that is true for a lot of people. I kind of experienced that as well with my video, right? I had failed doing a million other things, and then I made the first down the rabbit hole, not even intending for it to get any attention, and it popped off, right? Like, all it takes is once, and then believing in it and pushing it.
Perseverance is the quality you're talking about.
Just
casting the dice over and over and not getting discouraged and not giving up. Because some people who maybe don't have that level of confidence, deserved or undeserved, earned or unearned, they just give up. They give up before they get to that point.
Yeah, I think that I think that Down the Rabbit Hole was one of the first times that I really decided to like throw myself into something with complete confidence, and if it falls apart, whatever. Right.
It's like judgment as well, though. It's judgment and skill and awareness, which is something you don't get if you think you're gifted. You know, it's
Exactly.
There's a term actually. I wanted to bring this up. There's a term, and it was coined by Brian Eno in like the 70s, and it's absolutely spot on. So we're talking about the young prodigy and how that's a kind of misnomer. There's a term "scenius," like which is a combination of the words "scene" and "genius." So it's this idea that you work with people around you who have the same interests as you, who are honest with you, who are good collaborators, bounce ideas off each other, and you're able to produce work of your own, which is better for having that scene around you. And you see it a lot with, like, if we go back to composers like Mozart, they all went to Vienna, which had the huge, music scene back then. And they obviously were all bouncing ideas off each other. And they all had teachers. Beethoven studied with Salieri, the infamous Salieri, who wasn't really that infamous in real life. A lot of composers, their teachers are really important. I'd say Howard Skempton was a very important teacher to myself. And Joe Cutler, who was the head of composition at my conservatoire, were very influential people to me in how I approach not only composition but teaching as well. But also the people I regularly talk to and bounce ideas off really helped me improve my work significantly.
It's about being in it, being in the environment.
Yeah.
Being around other people doing this thing.
There's no reason to do it on your own when everyone else is already like learning and practicing and making mistakes. Like, just learn from them instead of making those mistakes yourself. Just learn from them.
The chess kid that you were talking about earlier, probably in the process of, mowing down all these much older, accomplished players, he was probably learning a lot from them while he did that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every chess player and their abilities is built upon the work and games of the people who came before them.
Yeah. And I'd say that's the thing is, chess players have progressively got better over time. There's a kind of correlation of, improvement over time. And that's the same with music. Composers are better these days than they were 200 years ago because we've built on like this foundation of knowledge that other composers have produced.
And finally, it all has culminated in Bolton Browne.
In Bolton Browne. Fred, do you want to read his biography?
Yeah, I'll read it for us. I'm the narrator, ma'am. Bolton Browne began composing at age 3, publishing his first poem, Wind Horse, in the Lymington Times in 1996. 15 years later, this poem developed into Equestrian Concerto for Violoncello. The late poet laureate, Ted Hughes, selected his early poetry for publication with Macmillan Publishing Limited, which was performed at the National Theatre in London in 1997. He then went on to win the Bridport Prize for Poetry. He began composing orchestral works aged 8, premiering Jupiter with the New Forest Junior Chamber Orchestra under Angela Bonetti in 2003. In 2000.
I can't find any record. Sorry, Fred, I can't find any record of that at all, by the way. I did look. I cannot find any information about
What about
the
Wind
performance,
Horse?
No, I think I have seen it. There is a clipping of that. So the weird thing is, if I can't find any record of it and his family didn't record it, that's kind of suspect to me because they have the clipping about him winning the poetry prize.
The horse is his favorite animal as an animal. So the poem
he
probably
respects
goes
the
pretty
horse
hard.
as an animal.
Yeah. Not as anything else, though.
He loves the horse as an animal.
Just imagine looking over that script for like that promo, and he's like, "Can we change the script, please? I want to make it sound like I love the horse as an animal, not like I want to."
Right? Do you think that's what that was? It's just to be really specific to avoid like bestiality allegations. You think that? Or something? Is that what that was?
Well, he is from the New Forest.
Is that like a local joke going that? Or they fuck sheep or something? Is that? I thought that was Wales. Okay.
No, that's you were talking about horses, not whales.
Fredrik.
In 2007, Bolton's orchestral science music came to the attention of Sir Patrick Moore and Mars, premiered with the Westburn Symphony Orchestra in a series of 3 concerts in Bournemouth. The National Association for Gifted Children recognized this premiere by giving him the nation's Top Achievement Award for young people under the age of 25, presented by HRH, the Duchess of Gloucestershire, and at a gala luncheon held at Ironmongers Hall in London. A DVD of the concert sold well, and he did his first radio interview.
I don't see the sales figures on that.
The radio interview exists. Like, it yet exists. We'll listen to some of it, at least, I assume.
And you have no idea how desperate I am to buy a DVD. I have looked high and low for this DVD.
It is still so sad to me that the Maradonia movie, I feel like Bolton Browne has a lot of overlap with Maradonia. Maybe we should do a Warrens on the Maradonia saga at some point. I think we should do that.
Well, so she had all this unearned confidence about herself and faith in her abilities, which she didn't have. But then you have to wonder, why is she like that? Well, who raised her that way?
Right. And I think we might be seeing that with Bolton Browne as well, right?
Maybe.
Like,
Yeah,
he's
maybe.
being lauded by all of these organizations that are made specifically to tell children that they're smart, which is kind of weird now that I say that out loud.
Yeah, it's very weird. Why are we doing that? Well, we're not. This is British. Why are they doing that? Why are you doing that, Ryan? we have plenty of things like that here.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like Bolton might not be the driving force behind this.
It's more the dad. It's the dad. Yeah, it's the dad.
Potentially.
Maestro Colin Metters of the Royal Academy of Music prepares him in 2009 for the conducting of his 3 large-scale orchestral works, written and funded in part by the Hampshire Country Council. Oh my God, the Hampshire Country Council. Hampshire. Are you kidding me? Now it's county? Hampshire Country Council, Hampshire County Music Service, and the series Shuri Charitable Trust, who awarded him grants for excellence in music composition. Wow, I am never getting recognized by any of these bodies for my intelligence. Holy Jesus.
You don't want that anyway.
I think
Is
it
it
might
a
be a
typo?
spelling mistake,
I was
but I
gonna
think
say,
that is
like,
Hampshire
Hampshire
County Council,
rather than
Hampshire.
Can we just spend a few seconds on the most egregious thing here? He did not begin composing at age 3. Stop.
No.
Okay?
No,
Like,
it's bullshit.
It's also a weird ass sentence. Publishing his first
that's not
poem.
that's not a composed.
So,
yeah, it's not a
That's not
composition. What are we doing
composition.
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could
If you wanna
compose
be-
a poem.
here? Oh my God.
Do you see how, like, the language here is kind of skirting around
Yeah,
the truth?
clearly, yeah.
So potentially he wrote a poem when he was free. He composed a poem, but maybe he didn't compose music. He did his first radio interview. As far as I know, his only
What
radio
was his first
interview.
composition? Your Teletubbies. Yeah, beep, beep, beep. That was it.
I remember.
We're calling that a
You
composition.
should know, Mike, that
My mom.
I think Teletubbies
no,
probably...
please.
Go ahead.
Teletubbies,
Teletubbies
please.
anachronistic?
No, I think
Tell me
Teletubbies
your
probably
thoughts on the
premiered
Teletubbies,
too
Ryan.
late. No, I think that they
There's
premiered too
anachronistic.
late for
Okay.
Bolton. Yeah, Bolton is literally a year younger than me.
Oh, shit. All right. So what would it have been?
Yeah.
What did you see on the telly as a tot?
So my earliest musical memory of music, I think, is... Did you ever seen a show called Bagpuss?
Bag puss?
Yeah.
Was that something to do with like a pap smear?
You didn't have joy and happiness in your life.
I feel like
Bag puss.
this is British because, like, it is doubtful that American censors would allow the word puss in a children's show.
Okay. Yeah, we didn't have this. This is batshit crazy. This is insane.
This is awesome.
This is the root of all problems in America.
Was that stop motion? What was it?
Yeah.
That's so
that
cool.
looked that must have looked really nice actually.
Created by Oliver Pokesgate. So I'm on Wikipedia.
Yeah, they were like
That's-
knitted. The puppets were like knitted with
So cute,
yarn or
yeah.
something.
I remember Teletubbies kind of started coming
90s-ish.
out as I was aging out of children's shows like that.
Yeah.
1997.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe. Bolton would have been 4.
All right. Well,
God, that's horrible. That's so long ago.
Horrifying.
feel old yet?
I've been feeling that for a while, Mike.
You're the one who named your peak team Peaking at 40.
Yeah. Well,
That was an amazing name, by the way. That was
Glad you liked it.
amazing.
glad you liked it.
No, it's really frustrating seeing them brag about how he wrote his first poem at age 3. My mom likes to tell a similar anecdote. She likes to talk about how when I was 3 years old, I started reading the bedtime stories to her, but that needs to be put in the context of the fact that she would read the same books to me over and over every night. And
You'd almost memorize them.
Right. You kind of memorize them. You get to feel the cadence of it. And then, I pick up the book. Well, I know exactly how to say everything because it's all been spoken to me less than 100 times at this point. Right.
You weren't reading as much as you were reciting it.
Well, I may have been reading it as well, right? Like, there's a decent chance that I was understanding what I was reading, but like, right. This is the point I'm making is that this kind of thing is a lot less impressive, again, if the child is just exposed to it over and over and over again, right?
Sure.
I am not going to judge the quality of Windhorse, but I am willing to bet that it is.
I will.
Please.
We got to read it.
I don't know if we'll be able to read it, but I'll see if it comes up. But at the same time, when you're a kid, the fact that you're not just if you show any interest in anything, people are like, you should nurture that. So like there's entire wings of society built to essentially recognize that kind of achievement in young people, whilst they're rather
it's like, yo, check it out. My child is not a lobotomite. He's not addicted to television. He's not a TV addicted lobotomite. Isn't that incredibly impressive? He must be gifted. He must be incredibly gifted. He's going to be a goddamn maestro or whatever. He's the next Mozart.
But yeah, so I think what's interesting about the Bolton Browne story is apparently this piece has been premiered in 2009, and then he kind of resurfaces a year later on YouTube with this. I like his name is Brown as well. It makes me think of Reservoir Dogs,
Brown.
where like Steve Buscemi's.
Steve Buscemi's Mr. Pink.
He's Mr. Pink. It is the director whose name is escaping me right now. Tarantino. Tarantino's Mr. Brown, and he's like, that's quite close to being Mr. Shit.
Yeah. Is this the MIDI music? Yeah.
Yes, this is MIDI music.
Probably from the score program.
Why not put the music he composed into the fucking video?
Well, this is his music.
Well, this is
not performed
this is his
by
music,
an
but it's
orchestra,
performed by like the MIDI of
really
his
swing that yet. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, but you can do a lot more with this than they're doing. That's like one of the things that kind of annoys me a bit. Is it feels like the emphasis here is not actually on the music, and I think what they're trying to do is engage people who don't know about composition. They're trying to act like there's a buzz, right?
And what year is this?
Except there's no buzz.
2010.
2010. So Bolton is now, I think, 17, 18. It's December 2010. This was released, so I think it's he's on his way to 18 by this point. I was at university.
Listen,
at this
by
point.
and large, this is a thing that will work. Like again, that fake it till you make it. Like we live in a world where you got the bots and the fake engagement and like the dead internet stuff, and you could just buy engagement on things, and you can fluff yourself up and get a ton of attention that from nowhere, create fake buzz around yourself. The problem is in this world, composition, orchestra, right? These people really know what they're talking about. You're presenting this to a bunch of people who are They know what they're doing. They got their shit together. This isn't the general public, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is at some point in this process, you have to engage real musicians and real composers and real conductors.
It's all going to fall apart.
And there's something sad about this,
Certainly.
Right. I think this might be a case of someone pretending to be a part of a community to people who are not a part of the community. This is something you get every so often, right? Like Bolton Browne is approaching people who are not in the composition community saying he's a big deal in the composition community, but you're not in the composition community, and so you can't refute him. There's almost a sort of, how do I put this? It's a sort of aggressive social posturing where you say that you are socially important in another circle, and it's like weaponized social interaction where if the other person questions you, it is rude. It is rude to if you are going to confront the person and say, I don't think that you are a big deal in this community, but you have no knowledge, you have committed a social faux pas. So in that way, it's sort of a confidence game where he's betting that you aren't going to question his statement because of some sense of social propriety.
The only way you'd be able to confirm it is by getting on the ground, going into that said community yourself and say, hey, do you know this guy? What's this guy's deal? Most people have the means to do that. But
even if you're a composer, you might not know who someone is. The issue is if you put this in front of a composer, they're like, this doesn't smell, this isn't past this
God forbid this ends up in front of somebody actually in that world.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not something they'd probably want to happen.
Well, this is something you see a lot in gaming culture. Someone who plays a game will confidently state something about the game, whereas this might not be a commonly held opinion about this game, right? Like maybe this is just something that they believe, it's their experience of it, but they don't qualify it. They say, this is how the game is, and I'm a player, and you don't play it, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. I feel like it is very common online, ironically, where it's very easy to verify whether or not the person is talking shit, but people very rarely bother.
You obviously don't play this game, as a retort.
Right. Or you're just not as experienced, right? Like, and to be fair, I did that a little bit with Foxhole. I played the hell out of Foxhole. I have hundreds of hours in it, but I definitely there were a couple of mistakes that I made in it.
Your mileage may vary. Your experience is not going to be everybody else's experience.
Right, exactly. And sometimes, like the substance of what someone says is correct, but like the specifics are wrong, right? Like there are many degrees of being wrong, but I feel like Bolton Browne in this case is the least charitable kind. Where
I did see a few corrections in the replies. Let me put it this way: I'm not trying to lie about Foxhole, right? Like when I was telling the story of the fingers, I'm not trying to mislead people. I'm talking about my experience and my knowledge base. Bolton Browne, I feel like, is relying on the fact that people don't have knowledge of or experience in the musical community, and is betting that you're not going to fact check him. Can't believe the Foxhole episode was just Fred lying about Foxhole for 2 full hours.
Yeah, the whole video was a lie.
It was all lies.
# cancel Fredrik Knudsen. I'm curious if this is a response if they took him to meet some real composers.
Yeah, I feel like the ultimate version of that is you have potential.
Constructive criticism, right?
I'll talk about that in a moment, because I will give someone who's lectured at universities, who's taught composition 1-to-1. I'll tell you my opinion of his work when we finally get to the point where I found it, because the problem is you hardly hear any. Well, there is a little bit, and I'll try and give my best of it. The problem is you kind of want.
We are going to have to trim this episode down so much.
Let's see what Bolton has to say.
This is where Music Olympics begins, right here at the Royal Albert Hall in London. England has achieved a world record. We have just written 2 hours of new sport music for the orchestra. Now we want to challenge other nations to do the same. It is time to get physical with music. In order to do this, you must be able to conduct an entire evening's concert of your own sport music.
There's some part of me that just is demanding I give him a wedgie.
To record, premiere, and reinterpret your sport music program worldwide. For the first time.
Yeah. No, that is a face. Though, that is a
face just screams, I need a wedgie.
To be fair, I might also have this kind of face, but he has the face that is begging for a swirly.
He referred to himself as England, so you'd be
even better
attacking the entire country, Fred. And I think we might have to...
That's not what he meant by that. That's not what he meant by that. Is that what he meant by that?
He said England has just achieved a world record. We've written 2 hours of music. So I think
He
what he's
meant
trying
himself.
to do is he's trying to sound less narcissistic here. He's trying to sound like it's part of a community effort.
Wow. That's insane.
To put it in context,
That's actually
here,
insane.
I'm not sure if you're going to completely follow what he's suggesting here, and I've never completely worked it out. I think the idea is that they're going to have this concert at the Albert Hall, and then 24 other people are going to put forward their own sport music to make their own concerts going forward.
Okay.
Big problem, the Royal Albert Hall is extraordinarily expensive to rent. It starts at 25 grand a day.
I want to challenge other nations to do the same. It is time to
Let's get physical with music.
In order to do this, you must be able to conduct an entire evening's concert of your own sport music. What we will provide is a level playing field.
Time to get physical with music. I
for
love the
sports. Sounds
cellist
like you're
as an
gonna
animal.
Fuck a violin.
And reinterpret your sport music program worldwide. For the first time in the UK,
I respect the
music
cellist.
sales have increased this year due to digital downloads. It is now time for sport and music to work together in concert.
As a Victorian man, he's clearly impressed by the digital downloads.
He thinks he's
Because
so
I'm
clever.
a composer and I practice these Olympic sports myself, I know that tone enables movement to be heard. In fact, every 4 years, we can create new combinations of sport music to celebrate this, whether it be for the summer, winter, or even the youth games. I've composed 3 original symphonic scores inspired by sport: Olympics Overture, Equestrian Concerto, and Jabroni Symphony.
Stop.
I don't think this is Bolton's idea. I think he got a film production company to help him. But I do think from now on, Day in the Rabbit Hole should have Fred's head just bouncing up and down in 1/3 of the screen.
I've composed 3 original symphonic
He's
scores
not.
inspired by sport.
He's not doing
Take
anything.
off your glasses,
He's just
you
jumping
fuck.
around a little bit. He's not.
And my wish is that these 3 pieces become familiar and enjoyed by
No, wait, hold
And
on.
the-
Wait, hit play again?
And the lapel mic.
Keep him talking.
wish is that these 3 pieces become familiar.
They're not even using the lapel mic.
Yeah, yes, it is.
Not even using the lapel mic, probably because all you could hear from
Right,
it was
they're not.
cloth. Oh my god.
Is the cloth rustling?
Yeah, yeah, that happens a lot.
Why
now.
would they do this? They're trying to show how, you know, I don't know, worldly and how talented he is. He does all these different things. They're trying to make him this man of many hats or whatever.
Because he's a
don't know.
sportsman, Mike. He's not just a composer. He does sport. This is the last
This
image
is a
you'll
sport.
see before you die. He will take revenge on us.
Just before he runs you down and tackles you through a wall, breaking every bone in your body instantaneously. Notice that the belt is blue.
You're already exaggerating
why not just go
so
for the black
much.
belt at this point, where we're so full of shit. just you're already exaggerating to the point where he's obviously not. He's never punched or kicked anything ever in his life. Just put the black belt on him. What were you afraid of?
Are they going to? Are they going to
Was
fact
there a
check?
fear of
What are they
not
going to
seeming
do?
realistic
Fact
here?
check them?
better not do the black belt? Yeah,
It's really
Wait,
disappointing that he hasn't
Achieve
got
the brown belt and then
belt
just
on.
never progress.
The
Just
Bolton
stay there
Browne.
right, because
forever.
he's the Mr. Brown.
He still has the glasses on.
Stop wearing your glasses. Take the glasses off.
He still has him on. You know, I might be able to believe this if he wasn't wearing the glasses.
Yeah.
I might be able to believe this if he wasn't talking actively while fighting this guy. You know what the correct way to do this was? You have him do a voiceover over some footage of him legitimately sparring a guy. That was the correct way to do this.
There's also something that
you
bothers
could
me.
you could have did this.
Well, he
Right?
keeps talking about how he's an equestrian. Like the two sports he seems to be into are like the most classic the stupid British sport. Okay, they're not stupid. He's apparently an equestrian, and apparently he is a yachter. Yeah,
Fred, you know, cricket exists. Bowls exists. These are just posh sports, not British sports. Come on.
Excuse me.
Next, Fred's gonna list off fox hunting.
Yeah, that was banned in like 98. It's not been legal for a long time in this country.
That's probably good.
Oh, is that
Probably
actually
the best?
Oh,
Yeah. Hunting with dogs
Man,
is illegal in
why?
the UK
But no,
man, why?
because it's cruel.
Fuck foxes.
Foxes
also
are so
there's
cute.
probably an ecological reason as well. God knows they've probably been overhunted.
Fuck the ecology. Fuck foxes and fuck. I'm just being a dick. Anyway, my point is there was a correct way to do this, and this was mega not it.
I'm just
I think
kind of
that's
I'm kind of
probably-
amazed at how much he purports to love the horse as an animal, and he's like the first shot of him doing sport is him doing taekwondo with glasses on. Like, dude, you had a layup here. Come on.
You had a layup. Yeah. Maybe there'll be a scene of him on a horse.
We'll see.
speaking,
Won't we? We'll see.
Not able to hear his audio over the clopping of the hooves or whatever.
I love my taekwondo sensei as an animal. I'm sorry. It's so applicable and like you can fit it to anything. I love
respect
it.
my yacht as a boat.
Though I am loath to defend Bolton, I feel like a lot of this is a film production company that are desperate to make something impressive looking.
Yeah.
And they've got like fucking nothing to work with here.
Yeah.
They've got Bolton Browne.
Or like almost like they were encouraging him to do certain things. Like I think of the music video for Friday, the song from Rebecca Black. Oh, we have Rebecca Black, Bolton Browne. They just go after people with color names.
I'm assembling a team. It's worth pointing out, too, that you cannot, stating the obvious, you cannot hear a single word he said.
Let's have a listen back to what he's saying. Let everybody shut up and let's see what he's saying.
Can you? Can you make out any of that?
I've composed 3 original symphonic scores inspired by sport: Olympics Overture, Equestrian Concerto, and Yachtmaster Symphony. And my wish is that these 3 pieces become familiar and enjoyed by everyone.
The guy's got like the shiniest bald head ever as well to make it super distracting.
My eyes. Were you able to make out anything he said?
He's written 3 pieces of music: Olympic Overture, Equestrian Concerto, and a Yachtmaster Symphony.
None of those.
And it's his wish that these 3 pieces.
None of those are
become-
taekwondo.
No, exactly.
Yeah, but
This
look
is just confusing.
You had to lock in on that to hear that.
He's like, if anybody slanders me, I'm going to kick the shit out of them. So that's why everybody's
take your glasses
scared
off
until
first,
now.
bro. Then we'll spar.
The glasses stay on, Mike.
Hey, blue belt is still higher than white.
Yes, I don't know what
White's
order it
the
goes
first
in.
one, right?
I did judo, so I had a brown belt in judo. I never got my first dan because
did you?
I went to university to study music, ironically, and I think what was it like white, yellow, green, blue, brown, black. I think I missed one out in there.
Yep. I was a fencer. That guy made white belt. Bolton Browne made blue belt. I just got made fun of.
Fencing's cool. Come on.
No, fencing is a very cool sport.
No, I was just kidding. It's lame as fuck.
Oh, okay.
It didn't help Fred. Fred's still powerfully uncool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I have
Fred.
made a
I'm
career
sorry.
out of being uncool. Don't even like you can't even insult me with it.
So how's everybody enjoying the last episode of The Warrens I'm ever on?
When you call Fred uncool, it's a compliment. It's like, oh, thank you.
It's like
Yes,
damn
I try.
right.
I try very hard. Glad you noticed.
All right, we've got to see him on this horse. Let's go.
This is the only Olympic sport
Yep, here it is.
which involves another creature. And so relationship and communication.
That is not true, right?
What are you thinking of?
No,
Hawking?
well, not. No, he's saying he's saying specifically Olympic
know.
sport, but like, aren't there multiple Olympic sports that involve a horse?
This is, I guess, unless you consider like Michael Phelps a different creature,
What
because
about the
that man's like a freak of nature.
No, there is that other sport, the sloth throw. You guys don't remember the sloth throw where you throw a sloth?
You've never
as
lived
far
until
as
you've
you
watched
can?
like a North Korean guy like throw a sloth to a world record distance.
I can't believe this kid forgot sloth throw. It's so insulting to sloth throwers everywhere.
No, the Olympics. It's better to know less about the Olympics anyway. The Olympics are degenerate. Okay,
Yeah, I don't really pay attention
there is
to them.
new conspiracy theory unlocked. The Olympics. So you know how Olympians just fuck like rabbits at
That's
the
true, I've heard
Olympics,
that.
right? Like, this is well known. Hear me out. The Olympics are an attempt to breed the most fit humans.
Eugenics.
They purposefully, yeah, it's
It's a
it's human breeding.
program,
Yeah, it's a
yeah.
covert attempt to try to breed really fit people. Like, that's
So
why the accommodations always suck. It's like, they suck. Okay, well, what else are we gonna do here? Well, I guess we bone.
That's the most heteronormative thing Fred has ever said.
Okay,
by the
but
way.
earnestly, like, they have tried to make them stop fucking by making the beds weaker so they can't support their weight.
Yes,
like
I
that was
remember
a whole
this.
thing. Except they're athletes. They're going to fuck anywhere.
Right, they'll fuck on the ceiling. Make it some Cirque du Soleil shit.
Right. Like, you think you're going to stop them? They'll fuck underwater.
I love how Fred has a theory about like an Olympic Bene Gesserit breeding program.
Every Fred conspiracy theory involves other people having sex except him. Fred's like, everybody is fucking all the time, and I'm being left out.
Why can't I be in the conspiracy? Do you want to just play this? Let's just play this.
Let's go back to the beginning of the horse bit where he has this awkward exchange with the horse. This is the most awkward exchange I've seen with a non-human ever.
This is the only Olympic sport which involves another creature. And so relationship and communication are everything.
The horse is like, shut up.
When I first sat on a horse at the age of 3, I wanted to draw his picture. Then I wanted to write his...
So he was 5 when he wrote the poem. That biography is lying.
Yeah.
Little discrepancy there.
So I wanted to go and go back here and look at this page, like a rare page of Bolton's score we can actually see. And there are some issues here, though. I wouldn't say they're hugely. I wouldn't say they. Well, we'll talk about them. The brass here, we have this like slightly. I think this is not necessarily super difficult. Well, it is actually. I'll explain why. You have 4 horns here, from what I can see, and you have. If this is a modern setup with 4 horns, you should have 3 trombones. Anything above mezzo forte, they're playing in unison together, but anything above mezzo forte means that you have to quite carefully balance brass parts, particularly if they're in unison. And generally the rule of thumb is 2 horns is equivalent to a volume of 1 trumpet or 1 trombone. So we have 4 horns and 3 trombones. So trombones are playing the equivalent volume of 6 horns. And that means there's going to be issues balancing that part. Under mezzo forte, it's generally not a problem, but we're over mezzo forte. We're actually playing forte here. What's more worrying, is that C's not possible on a trombone. I don't even believe it's. If any trombonists in the comments want to correct me, it's not even possible. It's not. I mean, it's certainly. I don't think it's possible on a tenor trombone, even as a pedal note, because I know you can get the B flat below that as a pedal note and down to like a low E or something below that. But it's. I don't believe the C is possible because there's a gap between low notes on a trombone and pedal notes you can play. I believe the C actually. Yeah, coming to think of it, I think the C might be possible with the trigger attachment. But I've actually been to play with like professional ensembles, and the trombonist just hasn't brought their trigger trombone, the trombone with the F trigger attachment. So it's something to like really be aware of. Maybe put an ossia there so the player can do something different instead. But I'd also say that's generally quite a weak range in the trombone. It's like a really low part of the register you generally don't want to be writing in. At that point, it might be worth just sticking it up an octave or just leaving that note out. Feel like I'm wasting a lot of words to kind of say I don't like this brass orchestration. When I think of really great brass orchestrations, I think of Ravel's work because it's absolutely extraordinary and it's sort of very different to this. Sort of very thoughtful use of chords and pedal notes to really give the brass a great sound. And this is just very, very straightforward, simple way of writing for brass. It's just all in unison. And doesn't jump out to me as a great piece of orchestration. And I don't feel like I'm looking at the work of a great composer when I look at it. It's just very unimaginative, very, very weak and very straightforward, and I'm not a fan. I wouldn't write like this, and I just doesn't pop for me really.
I gotta go to the bathroom so bad. I didn't want to interrupt you. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna die. Hold on.
So I wanted to bring something up. So you're kind of talking about how like this piece of music is peculiar. The way you're describing it, to me, it sounds like someone who does a lot of tooling around in scoring programs, but doesn't necessarily think about the realities of it, not really engaging with the practical, the practical aspects of the medium. Which is really...
It's a very common issue.
It is, right? Like, I think that a lot of hobbyists, especially hobbyist artists, like to stay very conceptual because that's one of the most fun parts of doing art is conceptualizing things and like how they could be. But then when it comes to actually, you know, making the thing, there are a lot of realities that you have to contend with. Like, for example, when I'm writing a script, like, and I'm not perfect at this, certainly, I have to keep in mind the way that it's going to sound when I am speaking it. With like, I have to imagine, you know, it's going to be heard, and I need to write it in a particular way that is going to make sense when it is heard. By that same token, it seems like Bolton Browne is the kind of person who is just fiddling around in a program and not really thinking about how a real instrument is going to sound when it plays this.
Yeah, I think that's very common. That's a very common feature of composers this age because you really can't substitute that kind of experience working with a modern orchestra because we write for modern orchestras in a different way. Mozart wrote for an orchestra, for example. So these days, you know, orchestral writing is much more complicated. Previously, orchestral writing was like relatively straightforward, though they're probably slightly, the instruments were slightly more limited in their control. You had the brass instruments during that period weren't able to play chromatically, so you had to be aware of that. But at the same time, these notes will sound perfectly fine on like a MIDI program, but in real life, they're going to be quite kind of, I think, choked in sound. I think you have trouble keeping the brass in tune. And almost every time you perform a piece of music in a real life situation, it's a huge rush. People are busy, they're pissed off, they haven't practiced the parts, they have an hour to rehearse it. So if there's like one bit of ambiguity in there, they love moaning about it. What do you want here? You haven't made it very clear, have you? Failed. Then
you got to have that conversation like 50 times.
Yeah, people love being like confused by what you've written. You know? And you know, to be fair, they have it like sort of hammered into them that what the composer's intending is really, really specific. So if they have anything that's ambiguous, it is normally a mistake. Like you fuck something up. That happens all the time. They really love jumping on that here. My issue with this is more the overall orchestration is a little bit funky. I don't think these footy chords will sound particularly good. I don't think this big unison brass will sound particularly good. There's also like some slightly strange kind of typesetting errors. You got one woodwind instrument still left up here, whereas you probably, with no music in it, you'd probably just get rid of that. Same with the percussion here, just to shrink, because you shrink the score down, you only see which instruments are playing. So yeah, it's that for me is the one bit of Bolton scoring I've actually seen properly. I look at it and go, I'm not really appreciating this orchestration.
I wanted to write his poem. Now I have written his concerto.
It's so weird about horses.
He's going to have a Moog synthesizer in his orchestra, I guess. That's what I heard in there.
No, it's just MIDI brass. That's what
sounds
you're
like shit. If that's what that's
does.
supposed to be,
It
doesn't
fine.
sound good at
well,
all.
So this music, okay, what you are hearing is more than likely just scoring programs will come with very basic MIDIs that will play what you have written into the program. They are not intended to be like listened to and enjoyed. It's a tool. So you can hear how it sounds in case you made a mistake, right? It is practical, purely practical in purpose.
I know all that.
As far as I can tell.
I know all that. It just still sounds like shit.
Right. Like the point I'm making is that like I don't think that they're using this the way it was intended, and it shows.
Ryan,
well, I think
that
also,
or just the MIDI sucks.
Ryan's saying he would have. The potential is there to just do all this better.
Well, I think the issue is there's been a lot of investment in making a fake documentary or promotional video about Bolton. It comes across like a documentary in the way it's kind of phrased. But there's been almost no investment in creating like a proper realization of the music.
Insane to think about, yeah.
Which is the thing you should be focusing on most.
The effort was in the wrong place.
And that kind of tells me if they don't care about the music in a documentary or whatever the hell this is about music, what is the real focus, right? Like
it's not inspiring confidence, yeah.
Like you want to look, whenever you look at any creative piece, and this, what we are looking at is a creative piece, you always want to ask, what is it saying explicitly and what is it saying implicitly? Explicitly, it's talking about how wonderful music is and like how Bolton Browne is serving the greater purpose of music and marrying it with sport. But implicitly, no one gives a shit about the music. So what's it really about? My read is that this is about Bolton Browne and about how he loves horses the best and is a really good kisser.
Where's the kissing part?
It's implicit.
It's implicit. It's not, right. Okay.
It's implicit, yeah.
I do think, looking back, he's like, I drew his picture of the horse. And it's like, this is what I feel when I look at early Mozart pieces. There are bits which you can feel Mozart wrote, and there are bits that his father contributed.
Really?
Right? Because there's a star here which looks like a 3-year-old drew it, and there's a horse face here that looks like an adult drew it.
Why is it holding gems? Giant. He's got the fucking Chaos Emerald back there.
Because it's cool, Mike. If I was a 3-year-old, that's what I'd put on my horse.
Giant gems. Oversized gems.
The horse has the 3 resources for a strategy game on its back.
Yeah. He's going to upgrade his city. He's going to upgrade his capital city with that. Okay.
All right, let's hear what Bolton has to say about
Civilization Brown. Diesel prices.
Named the bolt Flame. See that?
The staging for these shots is so
Sailing
funny.
is a part of our national heritage. We are an island nation, and much of our music has been inspired by the sea, but it has reached far beyond our shores. It will be a worldwide event, but inspired by our Queen's Diamond Jubilee and the Olympic Games. From our London premiere, the baton will pass to cities such as Johannesburg,
the editing,
New York,
video
Caracas,
editing on this,
and Chicago. Every 2 hours for the next 48 hours across.
Look, okay, hold on. There's something that I love about this. He's listing off cities and they have photographs of the cities except for Caracas, which just remains a vague spot on a map.
I also have a feeling that Caracas is in there. I might have to recheck this, but I think Caracas is on there because it's where Dudamau's orchestra is. He had the children who were orphaned. He made a program so they could join the orchestra, and that was like one of the best youth orchestras in the world. I think that's why he mentions
little nod
Caracas
to that
specifically, which is weird because unless you have a specific plan to have the piece performed in Caracas, it's like kind of a weird.
He's going for like prestige by association, kind of.
Yeah,
just by
I'm just looking,
name dropping that, being like, oh yeah, we're gonna be there.
A remarkable feature of Bolton Browne's music is how much of it sounds like music that was meant to represent waggling your dick around.
What?
Like boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Like I don't know what it is. It's penis music.
Is it penis
music?
Like
the music is penisy.
Is this we're hearing right now is penisy? You saying?
A little bit, like the one just before we were listening to him talk on the yacht. I can't describe it any other way. I don't know how
Sounds
else
like
to describe it.
you did a little
penis-y.
arpeggiation with your voice, right? You did that again? Do what you did again?
What, arpeggio?
You're thinking of this Olympics overture specifically, the one that goes like
That one as well, yes. So
you're saying like Olympics music is just kind of penis music, that's your point?
No, just Bolton
Bolton's.
Brown's Olympic.
Okay.
The Bolton Browne's Olympic penis music. That's the name of this Warren's episode.
This is like, you know how Mozart wrote loads of pieces about like scat?
Penis? I was not aware of that.
No, not penis, scat.
Yes. Leg mich im Arsch. Yeah.
Oh, right. He found he had scat humor.
Scatological, yeah.
He was a fecal funny
Well,
guy.
he's German.
Right? Yeah.
Every German is.
I've heard that, yeah.
He was actually born in
Scheiße?
Salzburg, Frank.
Excuse me. Okay. I mean, the Austrians are this way too.
Yes. I just wanted to correct you there before you got the comments.
They're both this way.
The comments are... No, he does this intentionally because the comments are great for engagement.
Yeah, yeah.
But don't correct him. We want the comments. Let them correct him.
I know of a YouTuber who intentionally mispronounces words.
Yeah.
In order to get people to comment about it and boost his engagement. Yeah. It's genius.
It is.
Let's finish this video off.
Now the orchestra will play this music. As the concert finishes...
4 Bs.
Okay, sorry.
I
just
wonder
have to
who
stop
this
again.
YouTuber is.
So Bolton here says that, okay, he says something very confusing. He's like, every 2 hours for the next 48 hours in 24 time zones, someone else will play this music. So the implication is they're going to play his piece 24 times in 2 days across the world. But it feels like the initial challenge that was set out was to make your own sporting music as part of this like catalogue of music.
Right. Yeah.
This video has fundamentally failed in its straightforward mission, which was to basically describe what this project is. And I'm just confused now. And I've listened to this video a lot over the years.
They don't even know what it is.
Well, it smacks of a kid with a big idea and no idea how it will actually look. This is an idea guy thing.
Yeah, but then he hired a production company to make a video about it. Insane to think about.
This is one of the things I think is worth pointing out. I think Bolton is maybe not as guilty as the people around him because he would not be able to afford, I think let's say 17, 18 at this point, he would not be able to afford to pay a production company to make this video. His parents were on board with this too. And I wondered if at this point, potentially he'd gone to interview with a conservatoire or a music university and they'd rejected him. And they were like, well, he's brilliant and we'll prove him wrong. And this is what we got.
Campaign will have ensured a developing news story is put out by broadcasters across 24 time zones, much as New Year's firework displays are reported capital to capital. In this country, we have a long musical memory. Even the buildings write music.
Wonder how much that
and
costs.
when a chorister sings a note slightly sharp or slightly flat,
the video there, they've had to pay a little licensing fee for that.
I think it's stock. I do want to say this may be the worst suit I've ever seen in my life.
He's got Cheeto pants, man. Leave him alone. They're flaming hot Cheeto pants, dude. Leave them alone.
They're red. That's not okay. And then he's got like 4 different colors on the suit, and the suit doesn't fit properly. The suit doesn't fit, and he's got the bottom button undone, which is wrong. You're meant to leave the done up. Sorry, which is you meant to leave that undone. Everything's wrong here, Mike.
He looks like a flaming hot Cheeto that was dipped in peanut butter.
Are you hungry, Mike?
I was gonna say he looks like an Undertale character.
Tenna? I'm gonna say Tenna.
Not a specific one.
He's one of the
just like he could be
the hidden bosses that you fight if you go in and out of the room 13 times and then do a handstand and put a banana up your ass and then say the secret words backwards 4 times. And then you fight him, and legitimately one of the most brilliant pieces of composition you've ever heard in your life plays over that boss fight. and it's so easy to miss it. Right? I mean,
this is like it's like an uncanny version of that, where like a really average piece of composition.
I think we figured it out.
And it's a real person.
He's a reverse like Toby Fox, this guy or something.
Like
Tony Wolf.
Toby Fox is a person who dreams small and makes something incredible.
Yeah.
Bolton Browne is a person who dreams big and like achieves wearing Cheeto pants.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
In this country, we have a long musical memory. Even the buildings write music. And when a chorister sings a note slightly sharp or slightly flat, the reverberance
The music
of the
is
building
drowning
and
you
its
out, nerd.
stonework blend the pitches together. So we in fact hear thousands of notes.
Oh my God. Shut up.
Our English choral tradition needs shoring up. And I would very much like our
He
first
looks like
musical
David Byrne,
bring
you know,
down
with the
gold.
big,
The
the big
oversized
suit.
jacket.
Minority Report Brown.
Oh my God. Why does this exist?
I'll read this quickly. The demand for listening to my equestrian concerto for cello has been so enormous that people are actually phoning in to request clips. Although I am not a DJ, I can provide a few seconds of simulated sound. Here, a few seconds of the cello solo as heard in the second movement of my concerto, Warhorse.
So Ryan, what was the deal with that piece that we just heard? I mean, give me your take on that, because I felt like it was okay.
Well, let's listen to Yachtmaster first, and then I'll talk a bit more generally, okay? And then I will. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. We'll talk about it in more detail.
That's the penis music.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I heard it.
There's a little bit of penis
I heard
in
the
everything
penis.
he
I heard
writes.
it.
It's like a cookie company. Like there's a little bit of grandma in everything we bake. It's like there's a little bit of penis in everything he writes. I'm sorry, all I can imagine is like a dude riding a yacht flopping his dick around.
Dong-coptering in the wind.
I think it shares a lot of problems a composer who's going to go to a conservatoire has, in which they're like writing a piece which is quite structurally sophisticated, but they're not really managing the structure very well. It feels like it's kind of dropping ideas relatively quickly rather than developing them. And it feels like it transitions between ideas quite awkwardly in quite a clunky way. I think ultimately this is fine for someone who's 16, 17, who's maybe been writing music for a couple of years. And in terms of, I can't see the score, but in terms of actual orchestration, that could be problematic as well, because, you know, writing for a real orchestra is very different to writing for a MIDI one, as we've talked about this a little bit. But I think the material's fine. I think it uses, I think particularly the second one, because it's got like some actual movement. I think that's like actually quite effective in terms of the material. Problem is it drops it for this weird hornpipe chorale, which is just way less interesting than what was going on before it. When you're writing music, it's not like an additive process, it's a reductive one. So generally when you're writing music, you want to be like cutting crap out of it than stuffing stuff in. I think that's like the big issue, is like this could be like significantly cut down. When I went to university, my most successful piece, the pieces I got the best grades for, were literally, I wrote a selection of pieces which were just melodies, because I was really stuck on what I wanted to do with writing music. So I was just like, well, I'm going to write pieces with the most simple accompaniment you can imagine and just a melody over it. And like the teachers thought that was really fascinating, because I was reducing music down to something really, really concentrated. And I think the issue with this is it's just like a bit. It's a bit, I think clunky's the best word. I think it's a little bit messy. I think it's got a lot of points where it doesn't manage the orchestra or the material very well. I would particularly draw attention to the transition. It's kind of transitions between the two sections here with a big chord. I'll just play it real quick.
You don't like how he did that?
Yeah, and that's something you'd hear a lot like during the early 19th century, but not today. We don't manage like transitions like that very often. You can do like a straightforward just like cut between material. There are a lot of composers who do that. They do manage the new material being introduced very carefully when they do that. But for me, it's just like a very weak transition. I feel kind of guilty talking like there are like any hard and fast rules about making music. But at the same time, it's not like Bolton's breaking any molds here. This is very, very conventional composition.
Right. I was going to say, like, the second movement, is that the right terminology?
I think this is the same movement.
Okay.
I think this is one movement, because what you generally have between the movements is like a period of silence, and then you'd go into that. The reason it is because it feels so different in terms of material. Generally, you want to spread between the each movement to have like a specific feeling,
right,
in terms of the material it has.
Right, and the second, but we'll call it like an idea, right? The second musical idea. Then
second idea, yeah, it's a good way.
It undermines what immediately precedes it, because it doesn't feel like a natural emotional progression from where we just were. It feels completely unrelated and undermines it, right? It's like, man, my mom died. These macarons are really good, right? Like it's kind of that.
Well, it makes sense. Maybe you got a gift basket, at the funeral.
I don't know, yeah.
Somebody was like, sorry your mom died basket that had macarons in it.
Yeah.
So
it makes sense for someone who listens to primarily music from the early 19th century, where Beethoven was doing something very radically new, which was writing pieces with huge emotional ranges, but not for somebody who's writing music in 2010, nearly 200 years later.
Well, I hope that the dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people who were, I don't know, calling in or emailing him requesting to hear that were satisfied by that. Do you think there was one person? Can you show that image again? What did he say exactly?
We'll go back to that, don't worry. But I think potentially people were like, well, I need to hear more of the music. And they spun that into that kind of thing. People are calling in desperate for the music.
That's what he said. Do you think one person called in what? What, he has a radio show? What? Called in where? Called his house?
Are you my son?
It's possible this was back in the day where like people were stupid enough to put their home phone numbers on websites.
People were calling in, craving to hear more of the music, because that's what I do. I'm a composer, bro. Those were scam callers. Those were telemarketers. They were not trying to hear your music.
God, okay. Don't include this in the episode, but that's Bolton Browne, right? He looks like a widow.
That's going in.
No, don't include that. That's terrible.
What do you mean it's terrible? That's funny. He looks like a widow. Mike is a real widow is offended.
She's remembering her
wedding day,
her late husband,
because they're in a church.
Reminds her of the wedding day when that's.
So this was released, as far as like, well, there might have been stuff released before, but this is still available. All this stuff is still available online, and this was put out with the MusicOlympia promo with the taekwondo and the bald head bouncing up and down. This is like this is the only actual performance of Bolton's work I can actually find. So there's a little bit of a lead in here with some of his music, but it's the only actual performance of his work I've seen available online. And it's not a bad piece. I think this is his best piece out of everything I've heard. This is the best music.
Whilst the fact that Yachtmaster was composed by a 15-year-old is extraordinary in itself, it's easy to forget that tonight's featured piece was written 5 years ago, when Bolton was just 10 years old.
He entered this for a composer's competition, that this orchestra was running, and he came second. He was the runner-up, and I was quite impressed with it, so I thought we ought to give it an airing sometime.
Didn't hear any penis in there.
There is a little bit of music you can hear here, and I say this is the nicest piece. So when you go for an audition at a conservatoire, you present a portfolio of your compositions.
Yep.
And what they really want, I think they want a few things, obviously. They want you to be good, but they want you to show some progression. If Bolton had written this 5 years before, taken 5 years to write what he's shown later on this Olympic piece, he's shown no progression. He's actually probably got a bit worse, if I'm honest. He's maybe writing more ambitious work, but he's handling it worse than with this piece. This piece sounds actually quite decent in places, as we'll hear.
Okay.
Though also this is a hilarious video which is sold like some kind of dramatic fly-on-the-wall documentary.
It was nice to have Bolton here so that he could tell us some of the things that we hadn't realised from the score.
I think the piece needs a lot more energy from where it's at. The double bass certainly takes a lot out of the overall depth.
With precious rehearsal time being compromised by the non-appearance of some key players, and in the spirit of all great show business stories, both conductor and composer are understandably
Bolton Browne's
tense.
geriatric orchestra.
But this is one of the big problems with classical music in general, is like everybody who plays it, everybody who listens to it is old. There aren't very many young people here.
This woman is realizing she forgot to take her Metamucil.
Don't mock the orchestra. They're suffering too.
You play the piano?
I do, but I won't be performing tonight.
Thankfully,
showed up
by the
eventually.
evening, the orchestra is at full strength, and both parties are optimistic that the performance will be a success.
Dude, put your crotch away.
Oops. He's man-spreading.
He's man-spreading.
And then right here is the peak, and then it goes down again.
So
Hopefully, since the rest of the orchestra has arrived, this should be much better than the rehearsal, and I'm looking forward to it greatly.
Fred, he's super tilted.
he
here,
is
isn't
so mad. Oh, like this is
he looks like he's...
no, he is seething. He is absolutely seething.
I can explain why. I mean, it's a natural reaction, but I can explain
Well,
why.
because a few people didn't show up to the rehearsal.
It's not just that. It's because he's a young composer who's written a relatively difficult piece of music to perform. And also the orchestra is an amateur orchestra full of old people. So they're struggling with the piece. So the piece is not coming out how he imagined it.
Did I also pick up a little bit of tension and maybe like some sort of disagreement between him and the
there was a quote. There was a quote from one of the players where they were explaining that there were things he was explaining about the piece that the instrumentalists didn't realize. And my immediate thought when she said that was, oh, the score is deficient.
I think that might be a polite way of I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the score. It's very likely considering his age. So the double bassist doesn't turn up, who's here in the background. He turns up in the end. Crispin, I believe his name was. And he says, maybe you can play it on piano. And he's like, I will not be performing tonight.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
I think that's his mum as well. And she looks very, very upset.
You know what I'm getting from this? If you could pause this for a second. This is such a powerful, this entire thing in its existence is such a powerful argument against the whole gifted children thing. Don't do this to kids. Because here he is, he's a teenager. He's now in a situation where his work is being put to the test in a real life situation, and he's ending up humiliated. You know what I'm saying? Can we not do this? Can we not do this to people? This is just, again, and now you have all these other people whose time got wasted by this, right?
I don't think he's humiliated, but it's a difficult situation to put someone young in. I mean, it's difficult to like...
He's untested. He's unproven.
Yeah.
He hasn't learned anything. He hasn't been alive long enough to learn how to compose music. And now all these people are showing up, trying to perform what he did. And now it's all their fault that they can't do this. And I don't know how to fucking
The moral
explain
of this story is that artists don't deserve good things.
I think this was a good learning experience for him.
You think so?
Genuinely. I mean, this is probably the most he's ever learned as a composer.
These people...
You learn so much when everything goes wrong.
There's some interviews here with the orchestral people.
I think it's a very exciting piece. It's quite different from what we've played
Yeah, they're
before.
being nice, being polite, civil, cordial.
It's quite unusual for somebody of such a young age to produce such a dark piece. It requires a lot of thought.
I think it's very well written, and I particularly like the central section, the meditative bit. I think that's lovely, really nice. So we hope we do him justice.
Okay.
So I actually do think this piece is okay. We'll have a listen to it. Eventually you hear a bit of the piece.
Remarkable for a composition from a 10-year-old.
Yes.
It was very good.
I thought it was excellent.
Yeah.
I thought it was very atmospheric, actually, a little bit different, and you could really understand where he was going with the sounds and the harmonies that he made.
The opening pieces were incredible because it really gave you a sense of moving through deep space.
What?
Well, this piece is called Mars.
Oh, is it?
So it's about the planet, yeah. And I do think this piece is decent. It has some really quite nice moments. The problem is there's probably some bits that don't work as well, which are missing out, and they're being very selective about editing here. I also don't know if I believe he was actually 10 when he wrote it, because he's 15 here and it's getting performed.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was studying to be, before I went to university to be a composer, every piece I did was so, like every iteration of a piece I did was so much better than the previous one. I would just be completely embarrassed by the old.
It's a very common thing across all creativity.
Me and my entire career.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So I'd be like, don't perform that shit I wrote when I was 10. I got a new piece.
It could be like so much else, a bit of an embellishment in that, or not a bit of an embellishment, in that like he maybe wrote a piece of this when he was 10, and then maybe he built upon it, and maybe it's a completely different animal than it was when he, than it was 5 years ago. And to kind of saying he wrote this when he was 10, almost a complete lie in that sense. Maybe not a complete lie in that, he started working on it when he was 10. You understand? And then they get away with saying that on a technicality, right? Like, you think that this wasn't reviewed and edited or rearranged or worked on whatsoever, even in like the weeks and months leading up to this event, right? Of course it was.
I just think, I think this is a piece that was, probably produced a lot closer to the time, and maybe because they're obsessed with this idea he's a child prodigy.
That's the narrative.
Yeah, being a 14-year-old child prodigy is not really a thing. By that point, and you're sort of building a portfolio which you apply to university with.
Maybe you need another 5 years to cook before we could say.
This was a really weird thing about like the whole Bolton Browne thing. He's like I think potentially just over a year younger than me, and I was at university having my pieces performed by orchestras and ensembles, writing a piece every couple of weeks. And there's this guy who's like, I've written one piece and it's my life now, and I'm doing everything to get it performed. If you're that good, go to university.
What you just said really puts this entire thing into context in a huge way.
It's a very juvenile approach. Like, I've already made my big work, and everything is based on this now. This is the attitude of a middle schooler. This is the attitude of middle school me, right? When I tried to write a book. I think I told you this story. I think I might have even told this story on the Warrens. I tried to write a book when I was in middle school, and I got, like, I don't remember how many pages, like 70, 80 pages in. I stopped, I went back and I read it, and I'm like, wow, I am not good enough to try to do something like this yet.
And then he left it in a public restroom, and then that the Maradonia girl found it, and that is now Maradonia.
No better fate.
Don't
what is it? Secret of Maradonia? What is it called?
No, it's Maradonia. The movie is called Maradonia and the Seven Bridges. We got to do a Warrens on Maradonia, man.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we should revisit that.
Let's hear some of this actual music, which is, I think, actually quite good.
If you sort of sat back and really listened to it,
this is the most suburban
really get
British
to the heart
woman.
Of that work. Yes, I think it's very good. Yes.
I'm going to ask him if he'd write another piece.
That's Candice the Baby, Fred. Remember that?
Oh my God.
That was Candice the Baby.
It kind of is. See, this is nice because it's the least busy
You
piece of
can't
music
keep
he's
going
written.
on with the same old people. You need young blood.
So it's just a nice, very simple piece of music, but it's managed quite well. It's difficult to tell because I think it's like 10 seconds is what we get of it, and it's quite slow.
This is nice.
You can't keep going on with the same old people. You need young blood. And somebody like Bolton, I guess, is the guy to do it. Yeah.
And the high register of the harp's nice there. The oldest 14-year-old in the universe, 15-year-old in the universe, this time
I
traveling
think we were
Victorian.
talking about how Bolton Browne, in one of the earlier pieces of music, he doesn't really consider the timbre of the instrument when in higher or lower parts of its register. It's just like, oh, these are the notes you can play on this instrument, and I'll be damned if I don't use all of them, right? Not really thinking about the timbre of that part of its range. But the harp, I feel like fits, it sort of makes up for that deficiency because most of the harp's range sounds like it's going to sound full no matter what you're playing, except at like the very, very top. It's going to be a little more tinny and breathy, but most of its range is going to work it's going to work the way it does on the page.
Okay, we get it, bro. You don't have to keep harping on about this.
Keep going. Maybe
Thanks,
one
man.
day you'll be a streamer.
Maybe.
So we had some music there, and I think Bolton has, or definitely had, the potential to be a decent composer. I think I was going to leave this reflection for later, but I think it's worth saying I don't know if he has the personality to be a composer.
The temperament.
You have to be like,
How do you figure that?
Why?
Because he got a little angry?
No, not even that. It's like I've been pissed off in orchestral situations, particularly working with amateur orchestras, because not only are they like not very good musicians, they're also like fucking assholes who like...
Are they?
I remember I once had a tuba part and I wanted the guy to play a multiphonic. So on a multiphonic on a tuba, you just like hum and play the note and it sounds really bananas. And he was like, I don't play multiphonics. And I'm like, that's like having a car and like not driving in a specific gear. It's just obstinance, you know?
I don't use third gear. Yeah.
You could say, oh, I can't do that. Or like, but like saying you just won't do it. Dude,
Nah.
you know, help me here. It's a bit weird, but like it's an unusual technique to have in a piece, but it was done for a specific effect in a specific section. It was a section about animals in a zoo. But it's about like lots of different animal sounds, and so it would like fit in like the animal call kind of effect sound. But yeah, he's just like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, great. And people say they're going to turn up and they don't turn up and stuff like that. So that's irritating. Getting pissed off about things doesn't necessarily change the truth of what's happening. But I think it's more that you have to be willing to like listen to people. You have to be willing to learn. You have to be able to accept that, you know, you don't have innate genius. I think that, you know, being willing to learn is a really important part of making a great composer. And I don't think we ever stop learning. If we did, that'd be really sad. And so this idea that he's written his masterpiece already. It's also, I don't think there's anything like no such thing as a masterpiece. There's no such thing as a genius. I hear like a massively shit pieces by Beethoven all the time. You know, really great pieces you'd hear all the time that are really flawed in some ways. They have huge issues with
I can think of any number of pieces of literature that are that way, right? Like a great piece of literature, pieces of literature that I love that are quite flawed in one way or another.
Lord of the Rings. It's got like some issues with it.
Oh boy.
You know, it's a rich,
How dare you?
It's a rich, beautiful book, and then like you're just like, oh, come on now, get a move on, Tolkien. It's a further away for the Fellowship, and Frodo's still living in Bag End, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have like this podcast that you're really into, and like you just want to listen to the guys talk about this like 15-year-old composer narcissist, but like, you know, they're just the streamer in the podcast. He won't stop talking about cum and penis. And they just can't, like, it's like, oh my God,
I have talked more about cock and balls this podcast than you have, remarkably.
I actually think that's true. What's happening here?
This is just the thing on the doorstep, but with like Mike and I. He's like, yes, I need a new body, and is just gradually swapping mine.
We were doing a Freaky Friday.
Let's have a listen to this. This is where he explains what the actual project became by the end.
There's also a group trying to encourage the supporting of a slightly different type of peace.
The Olympic truce is a great ideal. It's only sad that it's been forgotten for so long. But now in 2012, England has a chance to bring that back and show the world what it can do.
Bolton Browne is a 19-year-old composer and sportsman. He's hoping a concert for which he's composed the music will raise awareness of the Olympic truce.
We have 12 other concerts every other time zone at the same time, so we have the entire world playing the same music at the same time, and that will give us a chance to see all of these nations working together to do the same thing, peacekeeping activities.
The ancient games from 776 BC.
Okay, so do you see the issues, the numbers that have changed? It's been 2 years. Bolton is now my age when I was at conservatoire, having pieces performed by large ensembles and small ensembles and stuff like that, living on my own and actually kind of starting my career as a composer. Also, we've now halved the number of concerts. It's not 24, it's now 12. And it's also been 2 years.
Is he time traveling?
I mean, he's just been doing this for 2 years now and nothing's happened.
Maybe he's biding his time.
By biding his time.
Coiled like a
he's
snake.
He's going to become the child genius at the age of 78.
Just need to lock in.
So there was a crowdfunding campaign. Now, here's the thing. I took a screenshot when I lived in China and I was using a VPN so I could access this website. That is $50 US it raised, which is 0% of its goal, which is, I think, from one backer. So potentially his dad.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Occam's razor states that it would be his father. So they were hoping to raise $100,000 US. That's with a modern conversion.
Wow.
Only 100,000 to do what he's trying to do.
Yeah, that's not really enough either.
Occam's razor cuts deep.
And there was a website put together. Free works inspired by a passion for sport.
He's still on. He's still on about these 3 pieces that he composed when he was 10. Bro, do something new, right? All I can think of, like, imagine if Megadeth put out Hangar 13 and then just would not shut up about it for the next 30 years. Oh, wait, that's just Megadeth.
Is that what happened?
So I don't know. I'm just being a complete asshole right now.
As Ryan pointed out, there is some degree of talent here, right? So if he spent half as much time on actually the music, composing, and learning about composing that he did, like posturing and making videos, maybe he'd actually have something to show for it. You know, I mean, when you're good at something, you just do it. You don't spend time talking about how good you are at it. You just do it. When you enjoy something and you want to do it, you just shut up and do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
what is
that's
all this shit?
I mean, like, speaking for myself, right? That's like I talk about down the rabbit hole because it's my career and it is directly related to a lot of what we're talking about
videos.
Sometimes, right?
You've made how many videos now?
Right. I'm just like, I'm making. I think we just hit 40. Hold on.
You hit 40 videos.
I think we just hit 40
full length.
I do not keep good track.
Right. But point being,
I'm just making shit, right? Like,
imagine if instead of like putting out any videos ever, and I know some people in the comments are already like getting ready to type jokes about how, you know, about your production schedule, your output. All right, but all that aside, imagine if he legitimately never published anything, but was like, I make documentaries, and then you go to his YouTube channel and it's just like the Chris Chan one.
Right.
There's like maybe
the
Chris Chan one. What was the one about those devs, those developers?
Oh, Digital Homicide.
Digital Homicide, you know, and like that's it. But he spends all day talking about how he makes awesome documentaries and bragging about it, how good he is at it, and how he was a child prodigy or whatever for, like, you know, I don't know, like lolcow YouTube content or something. But like,
right, at some point it stops sounding like a profession and starts sounding like a tax dodge.
Right. Yeah, there's something there's something weird about it.
Not calling Bolton Browne a tax dodger. I think that he is completely earnest, which is perhaps worse. But why? Why? What? Like, I don't know. I feel like his pride in his country demands that he takes as few deductions.
No, that's all.
As he can.
That's all manipulative talk. That's not. He doesn't really care. That's just, again, that's part of the grift.
So here's the thing. He's now like the age I was having like orchestral pieces performed. I was making recordings of my pieces because I was at university doing that. And I certainly would not describe myself as a prodigy. I describe myself as painfully late coming to composition. I started thinking about becoming a composer at 14. That was the age I started thinking about it. And I probably only wrote my first decent work when I was like 18. There's a piece I wrote called Pictures of Venice, which was genuinely quite... It was a piano duet, and it was like had quite unusual ideas. And it was good because I think it showed a real progression in my ability, and that's what got me into university. I wanted to draw into something, all of this stuff. This is what I mean by bending the truth. He said, sometimes I hear melody in the wind and other times I feel driven beneath the boat. Either way, it's the best orchestration of man that harmonizes the two. Sometimes during rehearsals, I have to rescue an entire section of floundering strings. It's a bit like pulling a dingy
sailors out of...
Dingy sailors, sorry. Out of this, so you got pissed off at me then for misreading.
No, I didn't.
You got pissed off.
I wasn't mad.
He's so tilted.
It is a bite like pulling dangy soulers out of the... It's a bit like pulling... What's this word again, Fred?
Dingy.
I'm gonna pull rank on this. That's not dingy. That's not dingy. No, I'm gonna pull rank. That's dingy. Because
dingy. No, that is dingy. No, I'm leaning in now. I'm leaning in and actually looking closer. That's
dingy does not contain an H.
Well, no, okay. So maybe like dinghy sailor. Okay, so I know a dinghy is like a small boat, but it's not an alternate spelling from what I'm seeing. So maybe it's like sailors in a dinghy.
That was right the first time.
He's making some sort of aquatic, fucking boating reference. He's making some sort of boating metaphor. Because
dinghy's like, wouldn't you say it just as sailors from a dinghy?
This is going to be your first 8-hour episode of the Art Wars. Let me read this shit. Okay. Sometimes during rehearsals, I have to rescue an entire section of floundering strings. It's a bit like pulling dinghy sailors out of the Solent who don't pay attention to the marks. Bolton plans to record the 3 symphonic works in a London studio in March 2011 with a professional orchestra. A documentary film will be made following the progression of the campaign, and a Universal Music Group. What? That doesn't make any sense. Universal Music Group is a corporation.
Yeah.
The Universal Music Group will distribute the album. He added,
what is a Universal Music Group?
It's nothing. It's just the name of a company. They fucked that up. He added, I will premiere this concert in London in 2012 with the same recording orchestra. The concert will be filmed live to make the DVD, enhanced by interviews with sporting celebrities. The concerto will also be filmed in high definition and available in Blu-ray format. At least it didn't say HD DVD to really age this. As soon as the London premiere finishes, the baton is passed west to the waiting orchestra, who will then play the same musical program. Every 2 hours for the next 48 hours, a new concert will begin, only this time with its own national orchestra, its own conductor, and in its own style. The major television broadcast and internet news channels will report that a developing story is unfolding across the world from time zone to time zone, each country responding to England's call. Bolton's website has already attracted the attention of Steven Spielberg, who has recently been in the UK working on a film version of Michael Morpurgo's book.
Oh, they just lie.
I mean, potentially. I mean, I don't know if that's a lie. I mean, there's no way to prove that's a lie.
Yeah,
but it also sounds bananas.
We gotta ask Steven Spielberg, I guess.
Steven, I'll put it this way. Okay, wait a minute. The production liaison manager saw the website and phoned me to suggest sending in the second movement to Spielberg. Wait. So no, it didn't get the attention of Steven Spielberg.
I mean, you tried to make it get the attention of Steven Spielberg.
The production liaison manager of of the movie version of Warhorse was like, send it to Spielberg. And Spielberg probably never saw it.
Just like busy smoking crack. You know?
So stupid. It is starting to feel like Tommy Tallarico. It is starting to feel like
Hulk Hogan.
Bit. It is starting to feel like
Mike. Mike, it gets worse. You don't understand. It gets worse. We're not even there yet.
I think that the most delusional part of this by far is the idea that anyone's going to give a shit that someone's like doing concerts.
Right. Yeah, no one cares about that. The fucking he's saying what? international news outlets are going to pick this up. He's saying like local, as the
no,
orchestra, quote unquote, like, you know, circles the globe, all the local TV stations are going to report on it. Are you stupid? They don't care. What? Sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
You were shouting like a madman moments ago, Ryan. I think I should let you talk. What was I going to say? Well, he has been on BBC Radio. But yeah, it's stuff like this. BBC steps up. Musica Mundi from Belgium has written that our project has touched their heartstring. And this means instead of chamber music, the royal family of Belgium might hear our symphonic works next time around. Bravo for magisterial compositions. We will definitely respond. It sounds like it was written by like an alien.
It's one of the first LLMs right here. Very early LLM wrote that.
BBC Radio 4 has written that they might be interested in using some early equestrian poetry for a special New Year's programme. So we sent them some of the background to the equestrian concerto for consideration. Who would ever think that horses carry tails? That's a good
That's
pun.
also
Quality
that's
pun.
also not a, that's a question with no question mark.
Once again, Bolton is wearing his suit incorrectly. Undo that. That guy's wearing it right. Undo the bottom buttons.
That looks like shit, man. Oh, I know this guy. This is Master Bates. Master Bates of the House of Commons. You have the
House
you
of
have
Commons.
The floor.
Dude.
What?
Dude, the House of Commons. That was such a layup, my dude.
Okay, all right. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy, you semen freak, you.
So here we have today, for instance, when speaking with our steering committee on the progress of our TV production and the development of our digital sport games, I was encouraged to learn that point-and-click games are more popular than action game because people inherently find creation more satisfying than reaction.
That is one of the stupidest sentences that I've ever read.
I'm going to have to read that
It
again.
is.
What in the fuck? There's so many things wrong with that. Point-and-click games don't create anything? What are you talking about, Myst? What are you creating in Myst? They're puzzle games, Dick. What?
I think he means like Civilization or Railroad Tycoon.
Oh, he meant simulation games then.
Something like that. He should become a Twitch
Strategy
streamer.
games? Yeah, okay. Whatever.
It's a legit suggestion here, Bolton. Some people might watch this, and if he became a Twitch streamer,
He's full of shit.
That would be a good starting
He's full of
audience.
shit. Most Twitch streamers are full of shit. It's an obvious career path.
Are you a talentless hack? Try and be a Twitch streamer. So he's got this like walk for truth thing. Once again, the suit is not on properly, Bolton. This is why he looks he looks like a Monty Python character.
He's going to do a silly walk.
He looks like a mannequin.
We have already had several bids from filmmakers who want a chance to project their silent rendition of Yachting Symphony over the orchestra on the first night of the world premiere. That doesn't work, by the way, because you need light to read the music by. In addition, 2-4 Group are currently discussing how they might get involved in producing a TV documentary for the backstory. Gaming aspects for World of StarCraft continue to capture people's imagination.
World of Statecraft.
Sorry, guys. I went a bit blind for a second. World of Statecraft continue to capture people's imagination, especially in government. We can only guess how many millions of players will engage with peacekeeping once this is on the market.
Wait, World of Statecraft? That's, I mean, real game? I've never heard of it. World of StarCraft. World of Warcraft. This is confusing the shit out of me, dude. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, World of Statecraft.
It's a bootleg
game. It is Statecraft. Okay, hold on.
EU Parliament
board
role-playing
game. It's a board. No, this is just Statecraft.
So I have it here, World of Statecraft, EU Parliament role-playing game to go online.
Oh, wow. What a
I
fucking
see it.
yawn fest. Holy shit.
But is this actually a game, or is this just a thing? Most online computer games are likely to be found battling zombies or dragons, than drafting legislation or debating the finer points of European integration. This sounds like a Simpsons bit. This is like IRS
written by
burger.
a boomer. Boomer Hands wrote that.
Yeah.
I
celebrate good times. Come on. I will. I know it's Al Gore. I know, but it has the same vibe to it.
World of Statecraft.
All things being well, you should receive your order in 5 to 6 weeks.
Hey, Parliament! Someone bought your board game.
February 2012.
You can't see whether or not he's wearing the suit incorrectly.
His jacket has got the bottom button undone, which isn't necessary.
But that's how he was supposed to wear the suit jacket.
Yes.
He's all confused.
Got it backwards.
So, on a recent snowy trip to London, I visited a well-known PR agency who recommended to me by my solicitors why somebody in their 20s has a solicitor. It's a lawyer. That's what we call. Well, solicitors are like more deal with civil.
He doesn't
stuff,
have a
so
solicitor. He doesn't even know what that
lawyer.
means. Just he's full of shit. Sounds
right.
like a fake job.
I like
It's a
the
fake
idea
job.
though that like this isn't that kind of solicitor. He's referring to some guy that showed up on his doorstep
Yeah,
one
just
day.
soliciting. Yeah, that kind of solicitor. He showed him. He kept him as a pet. What is it, Fred? That the hermit, the house hermit.
The ornamental
yeah, he
hermit.
kept him as an ornamental hermit.
Ornamental solicitor. Getting charged £60 for every 7 minutes of work or whatever. I think that's it's like they charge in 6 minutes chunks, which are 10% of an hour. And I had some documents certified by a solicitor. It took them 15 minutes and it cost me £180.
Yeah, it's a scam job.
Boy,
scam job.
The head of the company told me that the music industry is changing drastically and therefore required new solutions. One of them is to put the news last, not first. This means our press releases should not emphasize dates and venues so early, but concentrate instead on the content, the artist, the cause, the raison d'etre, our own human interest stories, which will feature widely in the next coming months.
But that's already what he was doing.
What does any of this have to do with raisins?
Raison d'etre is a French word. It
I know.
means like the spirit, Mike.
I know.
Is there an Italian word with a similar meaning?
I know.
The gabagool.
The gabagool, huh?
So before we close out on these little blog posts, I want to point out that the last one I have on here was posted in 2019. And he's still talking about the cello concerto and how he's working on it.
It's like George R. R.
God,
Martin
like-
talking about the winds of winter.
So I'd like to mention that novel that I was writing in middle school. I read it back and decided I wasn't good enough to write something like that yet. I abandoned the idea eventually because really the concept wasn't what was important, right? It's what is practical to be able to do and what moves me at the moment. This guy can't move on. Dude, like he is so stuck in the mud.
So this document contains the interesting fact is he's now 21 and it's still
a little bit of a time skip.
It's kind of sad though because it's like terrifying that he's just stayed the same. So this is written evidence for projects that are meant to extend the legacy of the Olympics in the UK, right? So I think this is about 2014, I dare say. And he's like written a proposal, I guess, to say this is what we're going to do. And it's full of the same kind of stuff. It's like managing director of Decca, Mark Wilkinson, and a senior vice president of Universal Music Group, Costa Pilavacci, both met with me to say they would distribute the album, providing I could finance the recording and premiere. And that's a bit like saying, if you can pay for most of this, we're happy to send it out. They suggested using Anna Barry for the producer who did the Royal Wedding album, and after reading the scores and talking with me, she not only agreed but introduced me to the owner of IMG Artists. She also writes, Bolton Browne is extremely talented, and this is an audacious and interesting project that breaks a lot of molds and deserves to succeed. These are
paid opinion. That's a paid opinion.
I don't even know. I think it's just British people being polite.
Yeah. They needed somebody to give him a dose of reality. Like, that's what he needed. Maybe the part of this issue here specifically is British culture. Because somebody should have just been like, it's fucking shit, mate. It's shit.
That's not the kind of... Well,
you know, like,
I think it feels like Bolton specifically shelters himself or is sheltered from these kind of opinions.
Mm-hmm.
If he had went to university, he'd been confronted with them because we would not have... Well, I wouldn't let this shit slide. I don't think any of the lecturers at most universities would let this kind of shit slide.
This is an important part of the creative process, getting told that what you made is shit. Like,
right, sure. Absolutely.
Like, you need to accept that, right? Like, you need to be told that. So, because if you're not, then how are you ever going to know that it's bad, right? Like, at the end of the day, when you create something, no matter what you think of it, you're putting it out for other people to listen to, right? Like, something can be satisfying for yourself. It is fine to create art for yourself, but generally, you know, if you're putting it out to a public audience, you are making it for them. And if they don't like it, then what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, once
like,
it leaves,
then you're just making it for yourself. Like, if you refuse to change it, then you're just making for yourself and for nobody else.
I think we kind of write for an audience of the self. So we try and like empathize with someone who might listen to our work. Yes. You can't really assume the personality of somebody else, but we I think, you know, some people will say you can't do that and every piece of music ever written is a piece of music written from oneself. But I actually think that we do try and like step out of ourselves to think about how people might interpret and appreciate our music or anything.
Right. Like art is a way to communicate to people who have experienced something that you have as well and commiserate with them, or try to give that experience to someone who has never had it, or like communicate the idea of that experience to someone else.
I'm going to read point 6 here, Fred.
Okay.
Because this is a new genre and we have written an entire concert program, not just one piece to share with others. London 2012.
One piece?
One piece of music, not just like 3 pieces. Oh, I see what you're doing.
Never mind.
Why? Why even?
Mike is upset. London 2012 becomes the first Olympics.
Have you even seen a single episode of it?
No, I've never watched
so
One
shut
Piece.
up. Like, be quiet.
I've got to edit this hell episode, you two. Can you get this shit together? All I see in front of me is the Fonz on the like surfboard heading towards the shark right now. You fucks. Where was I? London 2012 becomes the first Olympics to actually demonstrate what peace sounds like, what it is that nations have so long yearned for and apparently forgotten how to identify. We now have something that unites us non-verbally, that moves us, that transports nations. And whether the music moves us to tears or up out of our seats, it opens up deep within each man's treasure chest, his own response with a duple meter pulse and a triple meter heartbeat. If we did nothing else, putting on this spectacular global relay out of East London would be a legacy enough for any nation, and one that could certainly win a nomination for a Nobel Peace Prize.
Why the fuck would that get a Nobel Peace Prize? Shut up. What are you talking about? It's not even that cool. It's like a dumbass concept. Who's going to be impressed by that? You're not going to be physically able to watch all of it anyway. What is this whole idea? Sucks. It's so stupid.
The years have not diminished his optimism. In fact, his optimism has only grown, so now he's going to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah. He's become more delusional with age.
Yeah. Like, this event has grown in his head as time has gone on.
There's nothing remotely impressive about this idea to me.
Could read a little bit of 7 and then move on. Yet this is not all we have. London 2012 can also claim a literal world record. No other nation has written for sport before. Composers have never written anything substantial for a sporting champion. Just think of this and what a national disgrace it has been. And how our athletes have only ever been given heroic theme tunes from church music, opera or love songs. Nothing to do with the sport itself. Why is this? Oh gosh, I woke Siri up.
It's another appeal to patriotism in there. It was a national disgrace. It's a national disgrace that nobody has done this thing that has absolutely been done hundreds of times.
Yeah.
It's it also makes him just sound like an idiot because it's just not true.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately. I mean, like, it just makes you sound like a fool.
Yeah. Easily verifiable information.
Yeah, I'm just going to put a load of pieces of sport music every time he says that up on there.
Yeah, good call.
Our plan to make a TV documentary that covers the backstory to all this. Our plan to make it. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, that feels like a really weird sentence. Our plan to make a TV documentary that covers the backstory to all this, how sport and music come together to promote peace, with the use of the Free Meal Studio at our Olympic Park, and thus help bring in much needed investment to the region. Yeah, London's short of investment. I spoke with various producers at MIPTV in Cannes, and they were all keen to get started and asked me to alert them as soon as I had a firm date to begin recording in the studio. They all insisted on using dual screen technology for this, so that the tech-savvy household could easily order from the screen with their connected device whatever we made available to them during the script writing. London hotel reservation, charter yacht holidays, polo tournaments, clothing, equipment, music tuition, concert tickets, cars, plane reservations, exotic resorts, etc. I have now formatted 3 possible treatments for the TV documentary, so depending on the budget, we can choose from a one-off spectacular, a 6 times 45-minute episode, or a yearly show keeping the score, where we present various sports in the field and then back again into the studio, turning them into music, a different combination each week.
This would all be pretty compelling and promising, even if there was, actual music to back any of this up. If he actually had composed more than like 3 pieces in fucking 20 years.
When he was 10.
When he, like, fucking 20 years ago, maybe this would actually be, potentially appealing to somebody or sound remotely interesting, but the guy just doesn't make music. He does this instead.
Yeah. Do you have any music for this that wasn't written by a 10-year-old?
Right.
Have any music? No, but that's the best bit of it. It was written by a 10-year-old.
That's the main selling point. That's the main selling point. It's like, oh, it was written by a 10-year-old. It was written by a 10-year-old. It was written by a 10-year-old. Yeah, maybe that's why it sucks.
Has anybody ever worked at a grocery store before here?
I've worked at a grocery store.
Do you know, like, to put something on sale in a grocery store is quite difficult because their shelf space is really precious commodity. Television airing time is a precious commodity.
Yeah, very.
They don't just put anything on TV. Right. They put stuff that's specifically either going to give value to the viewer, if you're on the BBC, or give them valuable
to the network
advertising slot. So this just feels like, once again, it's like you say something and I think you don't know what you're talking about because, well, how are you going to get it broadcast on TV? You're talking about television documentaries. How are you going to get it broadcast? Who's going to put 6 45-minute episodes on there once you pay the $300,000 an episode to get it put together, you know? At least $300,000 an episode to have it put together. Who's going to show it?
Insane.
Right, this is still going to get more insane. 12. I have also designed free video games to extend the final episode of any TV content.
What do you mean video games? What?
These are all sport themes and use the sport music as a soundtrack. These games would all be playable on multiple platforms and produced by any of the major game labels, such as EA. I don't want to go with EA, mate.
Nah.
Activision Blizzard. Maybe not very either. Or Sega. And it's worth from the people who made Sonic the Hedgehog, Bolton the composer. It's worth noting that the titles produced by these companies frequently sell in the tens of millions.
Make your composer persona.
Or just my body. That's my regular composer persona. The fat, bloated, alcoholic body of a composer. That's your composer persona. It is worth noting that titles produced by these companies frequently sell in the tens of millions. It would be a world coup for London 2012 and take the lasting legacy into billions of handheld mobile devices. It will also promote the cause for... I'm not going to read much more of this. I feel like I'm having a stroke reading it. But, like, no, video games, they're expensive to make.
No,
don't
it
just
doesn't
make
matter.
them.
We'll take care of it.
Also,
don't worry about the logistics of these things. Just dream. Just shut up and dream. You need to go back.
This is a plan.
Hold on. You need to go back to the previous image, Ryan, because you didn't finish that. I need you to finish that sentence. I'll read it. It will also promote the cause for worldwide peace. And if London 2012 can say we did that, we used our 2 boosters of sport and music to deliver a payload for international peace, and by so doing, connected all of our legacy partners together in one constellation of hope, health, and good listening, then we will have given this next generation a bright star by which to navigate. Holy fucking run-on sentence. Something that bursts onto the scene, shines brightly, and ushers in a new era where men will walk tall, pulled ever upward by the magnetic force of illumination, creativity, and relationship. Holy shit. The music composed by my 10-year-old son solved the Middle East crisis.
That is literally what he's saying.
No, nuclear weapons have been decommissioned worldwide because of this,
feel like
again, 15-year-old piece of music written by a 10-year-old.
No, like Bolton Browne is one midlife crisis away from suggesting that Britain needs to retake all of its old colonies.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
By the way, not just the music written. Sorry, not just the music written by a 10-year-old, but the MIDI version of it contained on a Sega game that you could play on your
Sega game?
That you could play on
a handheld Sega console.
On a handheld Sega console, which by the way hasn't fucking existed since he wrote the fucking music.
London
Olympics, Sonic at the Olympics 2012
Olympic
for Neo Geo.
For Neo fucking Geo, which is from like 1994, right? Okay. Sure. Yeah. Sonic at the Olympics.
Sonic at the London Olympics.
Solved world peace.
And then like Bolton Browne's hedgehog Sona is in the game.
Yeah. His hog Sona.
So
his hog, his hog's in the
idea
game.
that there may be multiple, like, infinite number of universes, So there could be a universe where Bolton Browne's MIDI music solved the Middle East crisis.
If you ascribe to that theory, then there has to be.
Yeah, there has to be. And he also made the free games.
The games exist and they solved world peace. That's how you know that fucking theory of the multiverse is bullshit. Because there isn't a universe where that happens. There is no universe where that happened. There just isn't.
Hey, Rick and Morty, I've got an episode idea for you.
Yeah.
17. There is much you can help with. I have many questions, and you may well have your own. I have worked hard.
Hey, Rick.
First, mastering the sports.
Hey, Rick, I've kind of been getting into composition, and I think that this piece might be able to solve the Middle East crisis.
Shut up, Morty.
Morty, I think you're really onto something.
Yeah, Morty, let's make a documentary, Morty. How's your relationship with horses? You respect horses? Do you respect horses, Morty?
As an ant, I respect them as an animal, Rick.
Good enough. Roll the tape.
Please edit that in. Edit that music in.
All right. I have worked hard. First mastering the sports, then writing the music, preparing for conducting and lining up a team of professionals to deliver the legacy. I am delighted the government took an early interest, and for me, it is the best time to give something back. I respectfully ask for your help so that together we can work in concert. Very good. To promote an Olympic legacy.
He's made this pun multiple times.
Fit for London 2012.
Yeah.
I would ask to speak with you in person and submit oral evidence. We are a home educating family, and so much of my success results from that experience.
That explains so much. You know what?
That explains
everything. That explains everything. Well, no concept of fucking reality or how the world works or society or just other people even existing in a lot of cases, honestly. Or that they might have wants or goals of their own. Yeah, that all fucking checks out. All of it checks out now.
Ryan buried the lead
you
deep.
buried the lead fucking... It was in the fucking core of the planet down there.
We'll get there. I'll get there to the homeschooling. Don't worry. There is a radio interview here. We might skip through a little bit of it, but this is... I have cut it down already because it was like 40 minutes originally. So I've cut it down. But some of this... I think it's time that was like the beginning, but you'll start to see how insane the situation is.
I'm Roger Matthews with you here, taking it through for the next 2 hours. Today on the programme, we'll be talking to Bolton Browne, who has grown up in the New Forest, the son of a history professor. He wrote and performed music from an early age and has studied voice, piano, violin, viola, clarinet and organ. And his first orchestral work premiered in 2002, was quickly followed by an organ ensemble, a chamber and larger orchestral composition as well as film music, and which is now being performed at regional and university concerts. The amazing thing, as you will see, if you stay tuned and listen in, is his age.
Audio jungle, audio jungle.
Started young.
That sounded like a bootleg royalty-free Captain Jack.
Just a quick check back to that original biography. 2003. Just a note.
Just keeps changing.
Keep changing.
Through to music, I'd like to welcome Bolton Browne into the studio. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, thank you, Mr. Matthews. How about yourself?
Just Roger, please. Let's not get too formal here, you know? Yeah. Okay. Finally, we've got you into the studio now. Excellent. Now, the intriguing thing about you when I first saw this coming up was your age. How old are you now?
I'm 15 years old now.
Amazing, because you your first piece was at 8, wasn't it?
Yes, my first piece was performed at age 8.
Yeah, the number keeps going down.
Yeah, it was 10.
Well, the first piece, Jupiter, was written when I took an Astronomy Now course at Beaulieu Observatory. And that was very interesting indeed, and that sparked my love of astronomy off right then. And that piece was written just after coming home from there, and I looked through the 10-inch reflector telescope at Beaulieu Observatory there, and when I first saw Jupiter through the telescope, I came right home.
Stop smacking your tongue.
It's tough talking on the radio. It's tough. It's tough.
It is.
It's like
No,
you're
it's true.
thrust on there in your life. I've talked on the radio a few times. There's a picture of me at BBC Radio Gloucestershire, and I've looked like I've been blasted by a ray gun because I've just come in from a really hot, windy day, and they just sit you down 2 minutes beforehand, and they're just like, talk. That's just a mess. It's horrible. But yeah, so it's tough talking on the radio. Upcoming is his piece Jupiter, and I think it's really bad. This is like the worst piece he's put together.
Right, so you actually get your inspiration a lot then from what's around you, you know, experiences to you?
Yes, I do get a lot of experiences from that as well, but most of my inspiration comes from God himself, I think.
Mike.
Yeah.
From God himself.
It's divinely inspired.
Do you know who you're messing with here?
Are we going to be smited if we publish this?
God himself. No, I don't know.
Oh, you're saying Browne is the return of Christ?
Yes.
Holy shit.
He would take on strange
We should
forms.
kill him and see if he resurrects. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. It'd be fucked up.
That's an insane thing to say, right? Inspiration from God himself.
No, that's a little. That's
no,
a
it
little.
is.
You know, he's not saying he's Jesus. He's saying he takes inspiration from God. He's saying it's. I don't know. I think a lot of people think that, you know, only God or the universe inspires my creativity. I'll allow it. I'll personally allow it.
We're writing a line here.
There's a
and
line.
I feel like there is enough.
It's narcissistic, of course. It's
parallel information that makes you raise an eyebrow. Like if it was an average person saying, well, you know, my inspiration to create comes from God. It's like, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, not him.
But knowing what we already know about Bolton Browne,
Right.
There's already some texture
right
on top of this.
Right.
It's so hard to criticize the music because, like, we only have these MIDI concepts.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This is like MS-DOS strategy game music.
I would not show this to somebody. This is like best foot forward. You know what I mean? Like, we're going on the radio, we're going to show somebody something, and it sounds like this. I think you're just better off not going on the radio. If this is what you have to demonstrate, I think you're better off not going on the radio. Like, don't go on the show. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't
I'd be
go.
like, well, okay, I have something similar, right? Like, something that a lot of people don't know that I can do is I can do a metal growl.
I knew that.
And I've done it in the recent past, right? I've done it for a couple of pieces of music. And sometimes when I mention this fact, a person says, oh, like, do it for me right now. I want to hear it. And my response is always, no.
Yeah, you can't just do
because
that on
it
the
sounds
spot.
like shit when it's not in a mix.
Yeah.
Like, why in hell would I do that?
You also got to warm up
if it's not in a mix. Like, you got to warm up. Yeah.
But yeah,
that too,
mix,
a little
in the
bit.
mix,
But the biggest thing is that it sounds bad in a mix.
Sure,
like, it sounds bad without a mix. And that's kind of what I feel, right? I feel like, right? You know, if the radio show host was like, hey, do a metal growl for us, my response is no. And I feel like that's what Bolton Browne should have done, right? Like, well, we only have MIDI concepts, nothing that I'd be comfortable sharing with everyone right
Instead,
now.
he's
right?
sitting there
Like,
saying, like, this came from God himself.
Right, like this is a young man with no shame.
None. Yeah, he's homeschooled. Is he an only child as well?
I get that impression. I'm not sure. I can't confirm these things, but it's...
he has only child energy.
Yeah, definitely. Are you an only child, Ryan?
What are you saying, Mike?
Oh no, I'm just wanted to confirm that before I make the statement that only children are insufferable by and large.
Do you have any siblings?
I have three. I have three.
Okay, I was going to say you're from a Catholic family, right? So there must be a good number of them.
Well, that's not always true, but I'm just saying that again. In my life, as I encounter people who don't have siblings, there are like invariably these traits that I clash with. I get the energy from this guy, like 100%. That's my point.
Yes, well, then my next piece, Mars, is actually being performed tonight by the Westbourne Symphony Orchestra, and that's a wonderful concert that's going to be coming up, and Mars was another one of pieces which was composed in the Planet Suite that I wrote after coming home from Beaulieu Observatory that day. And Mars is a piece that was written in honour of the Red Planet and a tribute to Professor Pillinger's Beagle Lander.
When you're talking about Mars, Jupiter and Mars, I mean, there's already a suite of planets. I mean, did some of that influence you there?
No.
No.
The Planet Suite by Gustav Holst is one of the most popular pieces of classical music ever produced.
It would be alarming if he wasn't influenced by that. It would be a problem. It would be concerning if he wasn't
definitively
influenced by
state, no, I was not influenced by this, is like, it feels
it's
naive.
It's probably a lie, and if it is a lie, if it's not a lie, that's a problem. He should have listened to that. He should have listened to that intently multiple times. He should have been felt inspired by that. Like, he should have.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
It's like if you're writing a sci-fi novel, for example, right? It's like, were you inspired by Dune? And it's like, well, I had to read Dune.
Yeah, well,
I had to
what's
read Dune to make sure that I wasn't ripping it off.
And the person's
right?
like, what's Dune?
One of those things.
No,
What's
like
Dune?
if you didn't read Dune, you're a sci-fi writer who didn't read Dune. I'm gonna say that's weird. That's a weird thing.
Right. Like,
that's
then again,
not good.
You know,
probably not.
We're sitting here.
Yeah, probably not good.
We're sitting here like little jackasses talking about what an artist should or shouldn't do. But like, if you were to ask, who is it that wrote the Hunger Games, right?
Yeah.
If you sat her down and said, so were you inspired by the short story The Lottery? The answer would probably be the what?
Yeah,
but Fred, I'm just going to posit this idea.
She was inspired by it without knowing she was.
But let me just put this idea forward. So, like, yes, there are stories. There are lots of stories that have like similar themes that might come up, but they're not always the most famous stories. Okay, The Planets is one of the most famous pieces of music ever written. You like it's probably the most popular orchestral piece. People listen to it a hell of a lot, particularly in the UK, because Gustav Holst was from the UK. Even though he's got a German name, he grew up in the UK. And lived in the UK. Okay, think of famous books. One of the most famous books is The Lord of the Rings. If I wrote a story called The Lord of the Rings, and they were like, what has this got to do with Lord of the Rings? And I'm like, nothing. You'd be like, that's fucking weird, right?
Well,
it's got the same title. You know, it's got the same title.
That's awesome. That's what he's doing right now. That's wild.
I've written this book called. I've written this stage play. It's called The Merchant of Venice.
Yeah.
Oh, like the Shakespearean play, and you're like, excuse me?
The what?
Huh? What?
This is why I mean, like, you start sounding a bit silly after a while.
Well, he didn't call it the Planet Suite. It doesn't have the same exact name, does it?
I mean, it's a suite of planets.
I think a better metaphor would be
collection
the Merchant of Florence, or Lord of the Earrings.
I wrote a book that takes place entirely on a desert planet, right? Like, there's one biome and it's desert, and I call it sand.
Sand. Beach. So this is the problem. There's so much to unpack here, Fred.
Not often I have the composer of such great music in the studio with me to actually talk to. Talking today to Bolton Browne. Now, the amazing thing about Bolton is the fact his age, that he can compose music like that, which I think is absolutely superb. And that, tell me, being so young, you know, in music, do you find it hard getting to people to take you seriously?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but music for me has always been a great passion, and it has also been a source of great satisfaction for me, and helps me to express that which is beyond speech.
I think his answers might have been written on these pages, and he's like reading pre-prepared answers potentially. That's why they feel like they don't really line up with what he's been asked.
Makes sense.
So one day when I was very young, I came home after the Bewley Observatory trip that we took, and I poured out this entire suite of music. And my mother asked me, "Oh, when did you do all this? Well, was it while you were looking through all these telescopes?" And I said, "Yes, it was." And I find it very hard to actually understand that people don't have music flowing out of them like I do.
How old were
You know
when
what?
first
Can I
started?
say, just what a, and you maybe you want to you maybe want to bleep this, but wow, what a little. I'm just getting a little. I'm getting a little. It's actually pissing me off. It's actually pissing me off. It is. All right.
I don't know, like, I kind of get this, though. I think a lot of kids, when they're 15, are kind of like this, right? They've discovered their creativity and they're kind of amazed. Like, he hasn't really figured out how to put it into words or not sound like a jackass when talking about it. I think that for a lot of people, myself included, it's an acquired skill. Like, it's something you have to learn.
All right, so you were a little too then.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think I was as well.
I arguably still am.
The problem is, I think we grew out it a little bit.
You're a big.
Yeah, I've only grown. Like, I'm not going to say what I was thinking.
Say it.
You know where I was going.
I don't.
You're saying you're a big.
So many bleeps.
Let's put some reverb on that. Bleep all the instances.
Add reverb to the bleeps.
Yeah. You're gonna have fun editing this. I'll tell you that much.
I am actually. This is going to be a good one. I'm really excited.
Why don't you keep playing this?
No, but I think I want to just really quickly. I want to say this, that nobody try and respond to this. Just let me press play after this. But I think I really empathize a little bit. We're here with Bolton because I think when you have no field of reference to like other people's ability, you're not involved in like the act of creating other people's music. You can really get high on your own supply. You can really start believing that you're like brilliant and you don't see that brilliance in other people's works because other work is sort of impenetrable to a degree. This is the Dunning-Kruger graph kind of thing. So I think I was very much of this kind of mindset. I think even at that age, I kind of knew not to say that out loud. And nowadays I have like a far better understanding of my own ability. But I can really understand why if you've got people telling you you're brilliant, that you'd be like this. And I think Bolton was definitely created and formed by other people around him.
Yeah.
Playing an instrument.
Well, the first time I actually started expressing an interest in music is at a very young age, I think 3. I can even remember lying on the floor as a small child and poring through picture books on the orchestra that my grandmother had given me. And I was always begging my parents to buy me another instrument. I mean, I used to write songs very, very early, 3 or 4 years old, and my mother would just pencil them in on the piano. And I loved music just so much, but I found my real passion was composition then.
Yeah, actually creating, not just
performing.
Doing it, just actually making it yourself. I can understand that. This the creative need. Is yours a musical family?
No, neither of my parents are musical.
No, that's amazing, isn't it? So it's just suddenly burst out in you as a way forward. That is amazing. Do you think nowadays? I mean, we see some. It's a very pressurised society we live in now. Somebody who's got a talent. Do you think that the public and maybe critics expect too much from people too young, or is there a pressure? Do you feel a pressure to actually, once you've done your first one, do you feel there's a pressure that people want you to perform, or?
No, I don't really, because I enjoy doing it so much.
What do you like most about being both a musician and a composer? What's the best bit of it?
Well, it's hard to say.
He's
really,
doing a great job at hiding his incredulity.
Is, a lot of fun because you can just go to your keyboard and the music just flows out of me and it goes right into the keys, and then I explore and develop with that until I have what I want.
This idea that you sit at like a piano and like music flows out you is frankly absurd. The process of writing music for like almost every composer I know is quite tedious. It takes a long time to write music, and I don't think we'd ever describe it as flowing out of us, if I'm honest.
I know that there's some writers for whom it just kind of flows out of them, but for those people, the meat of the work is then going back and editing what they've written, right?
The first draft flows out. That's what flows out.
Right.
You know?
And
then
exactly.
you end up going back and you kill like half the darlings. You know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, I'm very weird. I'm the only person. I think I've met one other person who writes the way I do, where my first draft is very close to my final draft, but my first draft takes a million years to make.
You edit while you write?
Yes, I'm going back and editing what I have just written
That's one of like
constantly.
the first 5 rules of writing is don't edit while you write.
You don't do that. Yeah, I break that rule. It works for me, but again, I am the only person I know for whom that works, and I would not recommend it because I am the only person who seems to do it that way. And I get a good product, like it works, but I think that people recommend against doing that because it's very tedious.
You just stifle your own creativity when you do that. You kinda,
right.
You know,
for me,
you stop yourself to go backwards. You want to go forward and then start at the beginning again is the idea.
Right.
But if it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, it's a lot easier to like make a pot without throwing down the clay first. I'm kind of like building the pot from the bottom up. And adding clay as I go. But typically when I'm writing, I already have quite a solid idea of what I want it to look like, and then I'm going to adjust it for flow from that point on. But I'm weird. Cut all of this out, Ryan. No one gives a shit about this.
One of the things we're discouraged from doing is just writing what we can imagine. We're also encouraged to experiment a little bit and use as many tools as possible to experiment. I think only in the last like few years have I started writing things down I imagine. Before I used to like really experiment with things and move them around a lot. And I still do that, but nowadays I think because I have to like write a lot of music very quickly, I'm kind of like walking around thinking about what I'm going to make, and then I put that in and then I fiddle with it afterwards. This whole process of like the idea it flows out of me is kind of feels a bit absurd. It's a very kind of conscious process. I think there is like
an immature thing to say.
To a certain degree, I think he's trying to sound like a genius, and I think that's problematic.
Yeah, that's his goal here.
I do think there is such a thing as flow. Like there's a psychological thing where you kind of lose track of time when you're working, and you kind of just get into the flow of it. But I don't think it's ever very easy, and if it is, it might be worth addressing the way you're working.
Until I have what I want.
Right. Do you prefer writing it and creating it than actually playing it?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Yeah, there's a bit of trepidation when you have to go out in front of a crowd, is there?
Perhaps so, but I'm more of a composer than a performer.
Yeah, so you like to create and let somebody else actually perform it for you.
Well, I don't just write orchestral music. A few years ago, I wrote a solo piece for an extremely distinguished oboist with a wonderful talent. His name is Mr. Andrew Knights, and that piece was called Sans Souci.
Right, so that's track 3 on our little CD here, isn't it? So I think maybe we've got that queued up now. Let's have a look here what we've got. So which do you get most satisfaction out of? Composing something for an orchestra or composing just something like that piece for, a single instrument?
Well, that's an interesting question, but all composition really carries the same amount of satisfaction for me. It's just the different media and the different instruments that carry the different sounds and the different feelings with them.
Yeah, I suppose it's like, once again, taking it back to, the analogy with the painters and that, whether you're doing watercolours, whether you're doing sort of a little charcoal sketch or something.
Yes.
Yeah, they're each equally creative in their own right, aren't they, in their own particular
That is
medium.
total nonsense. The number of times I was asked to write a piece of music, it was like, oh, Ryan, I was once asked to write a piece for viola and double bass as a duo. And I was like, what the hell am I meant to do with this? And I was just like, I don't know what to write for this. This is just, and it's 2 instruments, so there's not a lot of room to hide. And then something happened, and Joe was like, do you want to write an orchestral piece instead? Oh my God, you just saved my life, Joe. Writing a solo oboe piece, talking about a solo oboe piece, really, really tough thing to write, because in his vernacular, there's not very much. If you want to see what can be done with an oboe, Berio's Sequenza for oboe is a good example of that. But it's a very hard modernist aesthetic. Writing that kind of melodic music is a real challenge for a solo instrument. It's probably the most difficult thing to do, is write a a solo piece in a melodic vernacular.
How hard do you actually push yourself with this? I mean, does it come easy to you, or?
Oh yes, it comes very simply with me. Yes.
So you're a bit of a natural on that level. So,
oh yes.
And I suppose if you enjoy doing it so much, it takes, as we said earlier, it takes the pressure off, but also the need to push yourself as well.
Yes.
I suppose you passed all your music exams, all right? Did you?
Yes.
Excellent. I often wish I had a talent like that musically, because I love music. I've grown up with music, and it's like everything, really. Some people are great painters, some people are great musicians, some people, great at whatever they do. Everybody's got a talent, and it's great when this talent is expressed in one defined way like that. Now, it seems to take up an awful lot of your life in music. Do you actually have any life at all outside of music?
Oh, well, yes, I do a lot of nice sports. I like to ride and sail and golf, bicycle, but I must say my favourite sport is skiing.
Skiing?
Yes, but the only bad thing with that is I have to go to Switzerland each year to do that.
I don't see there's anything particularly bad in that myself, but there you go.
He's so humble.
So, have you written, has that been an inspiration to you? Have you written anything to do with skiing?
Well, the sailing has been an inspiration to me. I've written an entire symphony on that front, and that symphony is entitled Yachtmaster, and one of the pieces that is going to be played here.
He has not mentioned the judo.
Taekwondo.
Taekwondo. I did the judo. Stop getting me mixed up with Bolton Browne. We're not the same.
Wait, this isn't about you.
They're all Brits. They're all the same.
Ryan Brown?
Bolton Probert.
Sounds like a fucking child messing around with the music creator in Mario Paint. Straight up sounds like fucking Mario Paint melody made by a fucking 5-year-old. Stop.
I love your reference for this is a Mario game. It's just so on brand. Mike.
No, because I was literally streaming Mario Paint like a couple of weeks ago because they just put it on the Switch 2 Virtual Console. And I'm fucking around. You can make like a very, very bare melody. You go do 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 do, and you fucking. Right, that's exact. It sounded like something I could have made in Mario Paint. Like
swing
like
your
genuinely
tits from side to side. Sorry.
Like that fucking sucked. Like I'll just straight up say that sucked.
I think we should listen to the whole thing before we come to that judgment. But yeah, it's very it's the sounds of the instruments that don't help, but it's very, very, very slow, and this is not a particularly engaging piece of music. It's very flawed music, and a lot of it isn't very interesting, and the interesting bits are fleeting, and he clearly needed education at a conservatory.
Yeah, he just couldn't get it because he was homeschooled.
Well, I don't know the story, but he obviously didn't get into one because he would have study composition at least, because he would have a lot more recordings of pieces. There'd be pieces of Bolton's music available online because every composer goes to university, records a piece every month and puts it online.
It's a wonderful picture, that does, actually. I sort of closed my eyes while that was going on. And, it's a great thing about music. It does work on this canvas of the mind. The sound will create a picture. Fantastic. And is that the one they're going to be playing tonight?
No, the one that's going to be played tonight by the Westbourne Symphony Orchestra is the Mars.
Oh, the Mars one tonight. That's right. I'm getting all tangled up here. Yes, that's right, Mars. Now, you were 13 when you wrote that, weren't you?
Yes.
Yes, from your trip out sailing on the Solent. What's the first song you can ever remember hearing or learning?
Oh, well, I actually started composing at the early age, and I do remember a few songs very early on, but I have written so much, I really don't remember much.
I suppose there's just so much there, isn't there? And if you live and think music, I suppose all the rest is a little bit on the sideline.
Yes,
that's really on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're into contemporary classics big time. Well, what do you think of the other music forms that are around nowadays?
Well, they are all right, actually, but my particular style, contemporary classics, is actually more helpful for me than any other style because it does improve my range in the media of the orchestra and of the solo instruments.
But would you ever be caught listening to any other sorts of music?
No, because I'm so busy composing my own music.
So you're very single-minded.
That is the biggest red flag for any creator ever. is if they do not
God.
consume their own medium.
That's
If I wasn't
the-
listening to music,
Yeah, it's the smoking gun.
it's the seniors thing. I'm going to go back to the seniors thing, that you are constantly absorbing what other people, and you know, I'm sort of quite friendly with a lot of other composers, and we constantly share work with each other, and I think that's so special and so important. If you are too busy to listen to other music 'cause you're writing music, then you're doing something wrong. So I think sometimes I remember to reopen a wound, Fred, reopen some Twitter discourse about how somebody said it's really important for writers to read, and somebody was like, is this not a little bit ableist?
Fuck Twitter. Oh, dear Christ. Shut
But then
up.
people were sort of saying, oh, but wasn't Beethoven deaf? Yeah, Beethoven started going deaf, and his response was initially consider killing himself. You know, there's a document called, I can't remember the actual name of it, but I will show it, where he resolves not to end his life, but instead to carry on with more vigor into his career and do his best despite losing his hearing. And I think he would have given anything to be able to still hear. And it was like a sort of huge, I mean, it could be said that his resolve to beat deafness is when he produced his best works, but it's really important to be able, and you know, like, it's really important to be able to consume music. He did his best. He used to like play music with his teeth biting down on a stick, so the vibration was carried through his jawbone into his ear. And I've known and worked with a lot of composers who have hearing loss. It's not uncommon in the music industry to have hearing loss, believe it or not. And someone who comes to mind, and one of many, is a composer called Richard Ayres, who's, you know, a teacher and a friend and someone I've really looked up to over the years. And I remember him coming up to me after, it was a presentation rather than a concert, but he'd shown a piece called Amphi, and it had a soprano glockenspiel part, and he wasn't able to hear it. I think what I see with people who are in this kind of situation is that they're kind of in a battle against disability. They're desperate to consume music, to make music, because it's part of their lives. And they really are doing everything they can to overcome it, because if they lost the ability to listen to music, and obviously to, you know, not being able to hear does affect your ability to make music, it's devastating. But yeah, it was this idea that you can just write your own music and you'll be fine. You know, music is the nearest thing to like a universal collaboration that we can get close to. That's also where I think people who make AI music really don't understand music, because it is part of a collaboration. It's part of a purely human experience that we can work and respond and bounce ideas off of each other. And that people who don't understand that, I think, are naturally kind of not really engaging with what music is.
Yeah, I mean, art in any form is a conversation at the end of the day. And if you are not expressing something, like, our art is communication. And if you're not communicating something, then what are you doing?
And that's what I do when I work with you, Fred.
I sometimes feel deficient in that way, because I don't always know what the video is going to look like, especially partway through how we have to do it to keep things flowing. Like, you're making music while I'm still producing, and I'm not sure how it's going to look, but I have to try to guide it in a direction to help you. Unfortunately, you are just very professional, and I'm not.
I'm desperate for feedback, Fred. Always. I'm just like, Fred, give me feedback. Tell me good. Pat me on the head,
It's
Fred.
difficult. It's difficult sometimes because I don't know what shape it's going to take until it's all together. It's hard to know exactly.
I often describe the process of writing a piece of music a bit like feeling your way around a dark room. The shape is there, you just have to kind of discover it. That's what I feel like I'm doing a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're feeling around, you're feeling its body, and you're trying to find the... No, I'm not going to make this joke. This isn't worth it.
It's a bit like
It is completely ridiculous and sophomoric to say you don't listen to music because you're too busy writing music.
Absolutely
I feel
insane.
like
Insane.
I don't even have to respond to that, because that is such an insane thing to say.
Yeah.
On that level, which is probably one of the reasons you've actually gone so far in such a short period of time on that. What's your
to never listen to music again?
What are you aiming for, your sort of greatest achievement? What would you really like to do with your music?
Well, my biggest aim for my music is to glorify and magnify God with the gifts He has given me.
Sunday school answer.
Do you write specifically? I mean, how can I put this? Do you see music just as a spiritual expression generally, or would you write music that would be considered in a spiritual vein? That would be a spiritual type of music, more hymnal.
the songs I wrote when I was very little, as I've mentioned before, were sacred songs.
Right, so it's always been in that side of you that's come out with it then,
Yes.
on the spiritual side.
But basically, I do write music just for the love of it.
Yeah, because you're creating, and it's just that creative ability. Have you ever given any thought, right, in your life? Probably not. I think the answer to this is probably going to be a big no. But have you ever thought, if you hadn't have gone in the musical direction, what would you have done?
If I hadn't have gone into the musical direction, then I would have probably become a psychiatrist.
Right.
Analyze yourself,
that one
kid.
For a while. We're going to take another break now here at Forest FM, and we'll be back shortly.
This is Forest
You know what would
FM.
probably be really amusing if you could get him, you know, on a show with somebody. Like, let's say you were the host of this radio show, Ryan, and you just like pressed him a little bit more on everything, because this guy's not pressing him. I mean, this is like a softball conversation. There's no real, you know. But what if you were sitting there like, expand on that. You know, let's dig into that a little bit more. Oh, so what do you think about this instrument? What do you think about this instrument's role in this? You know, like a conversation with somebody like you would destroy this kid. Like, it would be like, I'm trying to think of like some kind of sitcom situation where somebody's got to pretend that they know something, about something that they don't know anything about. And then they're sitting there being like, oh yeah, of course, just like talking out of their ass. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, this is kind of the sad thing, right? It like this kid wants
stop calling
this kid wants to be
He's in his
taken
30s
seriously. Well, he's in his. I'm talking about him in this interview.
In
right?
this interview, sure.
He's 15. He is being touted as a prodigy, right? Like someone who just naturally understands all of this. And that's why he's being interviewed. He's being interviewed as half for the audience and half for Bolton, because they're trying to encourage this in him, right? Like they are sort of stroking his ego, encouraging him along this musical path. And he does not have the language to describe what he's doing. And I think the frustrating thing is he feels like what it sounds like to me is the lesson he got from interviews like this and the little documentaries and whatever, like the news articles talking about him. What he got from it wasn't, oh, I need to keep forging forward and improve my craft. It was, I'm fucking great. And he just never expanded beyond that.
Everyone around him is complicit in this. Like, it's not even just him. It's this guy. It's those people in that church.
Yeah, this guy is
his parents.
fed into
right.
it as well.
And he's like, you are right, Mike. Like, Ryan would be able to talk. Like, would be able to talk circles around this kid, but
and
that's
it would
not
be
the
good
point,
for him.
right? Like,
and it would be good for him to have that happen to him.
The point is that like this interview is all about talking about an up and coming talent, right? Someone who doesn't know all of these things and will hopefully go on to learn them, and build experience. But that wasn't what he got out of it.
No, makes me wonder if they kind of like greased this guy. They were like, here's a few $100 quid, go easy on him or something. I don't know. Here's some quid. Like,
I think it's a local guy,
but give us the interview that we're gonna ask you for. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think that his
Give us
palms
a
needed
fluff.
to be greased.
We're gonna
This is a
pay you
local
for
guy.
we're gonna pay you for a fluff piece, or it doesn't even need to happen because he's like, oh yeah, homegrown talent. Let's make it look nice.
This is a local radio station, right? They are talking to a local kid.
But even at certain points where he's laughing with, he's like, oh, you should, you see, it just comes totally natural to you, huh? Nothing. It's almost like you hear it in his voice where he's like, yeah, really?
Right. He's like, oh no. Like, he knows where this is going. He seems to be musically inclined, right? Like, he does, like, this radio host does seem to have some sort of musical education.
Yeah.
He's listening to this kid talk, and you can hear it in his voice. I agree, Mike. I was hearing it too. He's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no. I know where this kid's going, and it's nowhere.
You don't listen to any other music? You don't listen to
it's cool. Like,
oh really? Are you
this
sure
dude,
you don't? Okay.
Well, like, this man is trying to relate to this kid, right?
He can't. Yeah.
He's trying to relate to him, and the kid's like, no, I don't listen to music. And he's like, oh, okay. Sure.
He's not going to be like, you fucking liar. Tell
Yeah,
the
right,
truth.
right.
Tell
Yeah,
the
he's
truth.
not gonna-
He just
he's not
grabs
gonna do
Bolton
that.
over the desk and he's like, you gotta
Kinda
tell
wish
the
he-
truth.
Kind of wish he would. but I'd like to see it.
I mean, for your average musician out there who's a teenager now, you'll form up with a few mates, go out and have a band, start playing a few clubs and things. It's got to be slightly different for what you do, just a bit different. So how did you actually get your music public?
Well, I started with the small pieces that I'd done very early on, and when my parents realised that I had this amazing gift, then they bought me the textbooks and helped me all the way.
Never any friction at all, really. Never have a moment where you're like, I'm not sure about this one. I'm not sure about my ability here.
He's
maybe
a kid.
maybe I gotta.
He wants to be nice. He's trying to be nice and he's trying to be polite.
And then the people listening
and if he did, like, imagine being the radio host and grilling this 15-year-old on his lack of knowledge about music. It's the host that's going to look like the asshole. Sure. If he does that,
Yeah,
right?
sure. No, I
like,
know,
he knows what it looks like if he does that.
He's not. That's not who he is. That's not what he does here. I know. He ain't Howard Stern or something.
This kid is not worth it, as well. Like I think that there's also that sort of feeling like this isn't worth it.
Sorry, can you imagine Bolton Browne being interviewed by Howard Stern?
I can. Baba Booey, Howard Stern's penis music.
So
what's this?
This next document is the most insane thing I've ever read. This is a Australian government invitation to talk about homeschooling.
Here, shall I read it? I am writing to you. Oh, wait, there's a typo in the first sentence. I am writing to you share with you our wonderful experience of home education in England. I feel like a typo in the first sentence of this letter tells us everything we need to know about home education in England. I have lived and worked in Australia during the 1960s and 70s and was good friends with Bryce Courtney and his first wife, Benita, in Sydney. At the time, I taught modern...
So that sentence was fucked as well.
I lived in... Oh, man, yeah, this is... Man, this is selling the homeschooling so well. Yeah, this is...
Boy.
Wow.
Boy. At the time, I taught modern history at the University New South Wales, wrote a regular column on the woman's page of the Sydney Morning Herald, and knew the young John Fairfax and his wife who lived in Paddington at the time. The reason I mentioned...
You couldn't make up. Sorry.
The reason I mention these connections is to reassure you that I was a hard-working and social member of Australian society with a circle of friends who were both influential and educated. As a result of living in Australia, which was part of my having lived and worked my way around the world for 10 years after graduating from university in Vienna and Berlin, I published poetry, married a professor of history, and settled down to raise our first child.
An only child.
That child turned out to be an exceptionally gifted child, an assessment suggested and later confirmed by the headmaster of his first pre-prep school, where we sent our son at age 3.5. By age 4, they had already identified his gifts and asked that he be formally examined at the Center for Gifted Children, which found him to have so high an IQ that he was off the charts in both verbal and nonverbal.
Off the
charts. How exciting, my husband and I thought. We knew nothing about this field, but surely thought, wonderful, he will surely win a scholarship to university when the time comes. That time came when he was just 11. Oh my God. We had him in private schools, which although we could afford them, the schools proved a disappointment because they could not keep up with his unending thirst for knowledge.
And horse.
Their answer to his extraordinary gifts was to accelerate him through the school by many, many year groups, so that when he was 5, he was in class with children 8 and 9, which at that age meant trouble on the playground, bigger boys and bullying as a result. But even then, the academic work did not satisfy him.
Sorry, just imagine Mike jumping the fence to bully Bolton. Even the teachers were bullying him. I'm sorry.
We tried 4 different private schools, each time wrongly thinking that the next one would solve the problem, perhaps giving him more with more difficult assignments, hoping to keep him in his year group for the social side of things. But it was, of course, impossible.
You know what?
No institution is.
He didn't get bullied enough, I think, is part of the problem here.
We're bullying kids again on the podcast.
They should have bullied him more. Like, this was... not
the
effective.
Warrens pulled off line for advocating child abuse.
Bully kids. Bully kids. He'll edit that out, I'm sure.
Please edit that out, Ryan.
It'll be the first thing you hear.
To move it to the front.
No institution. No, you put that in before the music plays.
Yeah.
No institution is set up to deal with anything other than the industrial model, like turning out sausages. If you have a child who is in any way unique, no institution is prepared to do anything unique for him. It was foolish of my husband and I to expect it. What to do? We faced the crisis.
Explaining education to an Englishman. Imagine a sausage.
A banger.
We faced the crisis of not knowing what to do. Finally, the National Association for Gifted Children suggested we take him out of school altogether and just educate him ourselves.
Our child was so perfect that we faced almost insurmountable hardship because of it.
Yeah,
that's
what I'm hearing as well.
Thing.
It gets worse, Mike, I promise you.
Okay, I'm going to shut up.
I this whole thing is dubious. Plus, like, the writing of this letter is not the best thing in the world. They encourage us that it was not difficult, and surely we, both university graduates and my husband with a PhD, could manage one small child. When put that way, it made us realize that we have been so foolish trying to fob off our own responsibilities onto someone else. The Bible is clear on this point, that educating children is the responsibility of the family, not the state. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting into the tasty stuff now. The funny thing was that schools had worked so well for both my husband and me. Indeed, my husband had made education his career, and I also had done my share of teaching, even when I was in Sydney, and had taught at the Sydney Technical School a few night classes in EFL. I had also taught younger children at the Malvina High School, all of which I had enjoyed. The grammar on this is atrocious, I just need to note.
Yeah,
Looking back on it now, home education was the making of our family, and that education was not for our son, but for ourselves. It forced us to grow up and start thinking for ourselves. Hallelujah. Is that not what education is supposed to do? Make us independent, creative members of society? We took our son out of the private schools that we had paid so much money for and received so little from. We had even gone so far with the schooling dream, and believe me, we had a bad case of it. It seemed like something so easy that we could buy instead of earn or create, but then we still were so young ourselves, so inexperienced at parenting. We put his name down for Eton just after he was born, Eton, excuse me. So sure enough, he was called up for an interview and an entrance examination when he was 8.
Whoever wrote this, by the way, whoever wrote this wrote all the other document we were looking at, because the propensity for the run-on sentence is exactly the same, and it's really pissing me off. It's the same person wrote both, like 100%.
Well, the grammar was better in the other ones that we read, though. Maybe they had someone else fix up the grammar, but I agree, it has the same voice. We somehow thought that we could buy our way up the social ladder, and use our son as a sacrificial lamb.
What?
What? Memories of Abraham and Isaac do come to mind here. Fortunately, the Holy Spirit interceded for us when we took him up for his interview and entrance exam.
I wonder where the kid would get the idea that he's like the main character chosen by God to write this music.
He scored so high and also finished the exam a half hour early that he was immediately offered a full scholarship, academic and music both, but by that time, we knew in our hearts it would be wrong. Even our son commented on how silly some of the men seemed to behave. We turned them down because by that time, thank God, we had come to see what poverty really looked like. Emotional poverty. That is the most fucking upper middle class sentence I have ever read.
Fuck you.
What young men huddled together to keep warm in the cold, cruel world of academia looked like, and we were overwhelmed with a great sense of sadness for these chaps who go on to huddle for a lifetime, still hoping to win prizes. A far cry from a young man growing up confident and independent, a young man ready to give something back that is original, authentic, and his very own.
Bolton and his mother lived in a house on a hill. Bolton would often stay inside, composing music, playing video games on his Sega Neo Geo. and fantasizing about writing music for the Olympics. That's it. I just wanted to...
That was good.
I would like to say that as someone who's seen real poverty, who's like experienced poverty, that's one of the most offensive things I've ever read. And it also reads like Alan Partridge's autobiography. It's actually uncanny. This paragraph we've just come to, this is one of the most insane sentences I've ever read. And also, like, there's a bit I'll get to where I was talking about with my colleague at Deanpool Productions last night, James. There's a sentence here which gives away so much.
Many people tried to tell us because our son seemed so musical that we should move to London and put him in a music conservatory, or even worse, go for the music scholarships at the choir schools. They were all clamoring for him, but again, we said no because of the boarding issue and also because of the regimented and stunted way they treated the boys. I even took him up to the Royal College of Music in London to have his compositions evaluated, and they said he was already writing music at a postgraduate level, and this was when he was 8.
Total bullshit. That is simply
bullshit.
Untrue. Either you were being humoured to the most extreme degree, or they potentially said something along the lines of, well, writing orchestral music is like something somebody would do at postgraduate level. That is not true. And like at eight,
it's mom ears.
Yeah.
Mom ears hear what they want to hear sometimes.
This is sad now, because I see where this is going, and this is really sad. Actually,
this is like legitimately sad. Like we looked at this before together, Ryan, and I'm like, I'm remembering this now. It was some years ago, I think.
Now I'm starting to like actually feel bad for him.
Yeah.
Because he should have been in school. Yeah.
He should have. Yeah. His first orchestral scores had already been performed by regional orchestras, and his first DVDs were already selling in the gift shops at the cathedral and music conservatories. I want a Bolton Browne plush. I want a Bolton Browne plushie.
Some kid choked in the glasses. We can't sell them anymore.
They sell astronaut ice cream.
The
space suite.
Yeah.
The planets.
No, like
the planet
this is
suite,
like again. It's like you were saying at the beginning, looping it back around. This is padding the resume, right? Like this is if any of this is true, then this is padding the resume and phrasing things in such a way as to make the kid seem as good as possible.
Yeah, my son was composing in the womb. You know, that's our. He's composing music as a fetus. That's our credentials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it went from 10 years old to 8 years old, right? Like he's de-aging
go back
eventually.
Even further. Yeah, how further back could it go?
He was writing music in his previous life, right?
One day, before I on the night that we consummated our marriage, I was resting my head in my husband's lap, and I could hear some orchestral arrangements coming from his scrotum. That was the moment I decided he should impregnate me with that musical sperm.
Ate the steak that became the proteins that became the sperm. Or like
you're right. Like what the fuck?
I felt something musical in my gut.
But yeah, I mean, padding the resume, stretching it's more like this, right? It's like, oh yeah, I was when I was a security guard. I used to sit in a booth like at a parking lot. It would be like as if I was to write, I was the protecting security liaison for this massive corporation and all that. I don't know how to explain this. I'm getting my brain is so fucking fried from this. We're going.
It's like stolen valor, Mike. It's like if you were like, I was in the military.
Yeah, I mean, I was a security guard. I was a brigadier general in Desert Storm. Oh man, you made sure people didn't steal boxes of cereal. And then even if they did, you just couldn't do anything. You couldn't do anything. That guy's stealing. Stop. Whatever.
Yeah, we need to finish this out because I need to go and intercept a shipment of Bolton Browne plushies. The royal family had already presented him with the nation's top achievement award for the under-25s. What to do? You see, my husband and I are not musical. My husband, although a professor of history, is musically illiterate, whereas I can sing a hymn, but that is all. What we were to learn is that this was the best gift we could give our son. Total ignorance on our part.
Hey, Fred, do you remember the Simpsons episode where Homer's like, I know I can give you, Marge, our total dependence. And how much like, Homer, that's not a good thing. He's like, are you kidding? That's a beautiful, wonderful thing.
I remember that.
Total
It's such a
ignorance
good
on our
bit.
part. That's like, that sounds terrible.
I can't believe
it's
that
awful.
they actually wrote that and put that in here.
The best thing that we ever did for our son was just to get out of his way and not impose any of our own ideas onto him, which meant that all of his drive to learn, explore, and discover could be given full vent. His music was entirely his own. Imagine if I had been a composer myself, how awful that would have been for him. Thankfully, I was not, which left the whole field wide open for him to explore, and explore he did.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how poorly that went for Mozart.
Well, no, like, but that he didn't. Like, this is an explicit lie.
It's not even
Because
what
when he
happened,
was
yeah.
interviewed when he was 15 and asked what he listens to, he said he doesn't listen to music. He's not exploring. He's diddling. Like, he's like, he's fiddling. That's
He's
what I'm looking
plunking around,
for.
yeah.
He's fiddling around. Like, he's messing around. He's not learning. He's not educating himself. He's playing.
Yep.
And like not like there is definitely a way that like play can be
Translate to
like,
it eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but like that's clearly not what he's doing.
It starts that way, but
clearly
then
not
you know
what he's
you go to
doing.
school and you start learning things about it. They wouldn't send them. They refused to send them because they knew better.
God Christ.
Yeah, that's that.
He also loved sport, so he decided on investing time outdoors with riding, sailing, tennis, golf, cycling, swimming, and martial arts. He thrived on it all. The Royal Yachting Association had a very good scheme for Yachtmaster, which, need I say it, he sailed through, and was soon off to the Azores, sailing between Wales. That was at age 15. He is now a certified Yachtmaster, and that credential means a great deal to him. At age 8, besides French and German, which we perfected on summer beach holidays to the continent, hitting all the French beaches, and in the winter to Switzerland, where we hit all of the winter ski resorts for German.
That sentence should have ended 3 times by now.
He decided to study Latin. And thank goodness for his photographic memory and perfect audio memory, which helped with the pronunciation of a dead language no end.
Yeah, fuck you,
So that
law,
way-
fuck you, medicine.
So that when we took him on a pilgrimage to Rome with our vicar, he was able to translate all of the monuments for everyone, age 10.
Thank God for
The
that.
most important... The most important thing, however, that we were able to give our son was a strong belief in God. We were successfully able to avoid all of the escapism that is so prevalent today among the young, and instead gave him a mature love of society for people of all ages. He met youngsters his own age when doing sport, and then mixed with older people when doing music. By age 11, he was the youngest member to be invited to join as a professional writer member of the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers, and Authors.
So this is a weird one because this is what is known as the Ivors Academy now. And as far as I can see, you don't get invited, you just join, and you have to be 18 to join. So I wonder if they just like...
Anybody can join.
Well, I don't know. I think, because I'm a member of the ISM, which is the Independent Society of Musicians. I think to join that, you have to have like a degree because it's a professional body. But yeah, I don't know about... I'm not a member of the Ivors Academy because I just never joined it as an ISM member. But I wonder if they just bugged them and was like, can our kid join? And they're like, you normally have to be over 18, but if you really want to, yeah. And that's how he's the youngest member, or was the youngest member. I don't know. It's very suspect to me.
So yeah,
That's the
fine.
thing.
Our son is now age 22 and has been invited by the Foreign Office to take his music to the United Nations and make a formal presentation to the UN General Assembly as a gift from Parliament to each of the 193 member nations.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
This was an This was an invitation from the Undersecretary of State Henry Bellingham, who gave him a 1.5-hour interview. He was also given a tour of the House of Lords and taken to tea there and introduced to several of the peers of the realm. He decided it was time to give something back, and so took classical sport and combined it with classical music to promote peace. Already the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra has put in a bid to record and premiere with him, conducting an 80-piece ensemble, and Decca/Universal have told him they will distribute the album, providing he can finance the recording and premiere. Yeah, sure, if you pay for it.
Pay me loads of money, please.
That's great. This now means he is learning all there is to know about becoming an entrepreneur and raising money to pay the orchestra, a considerable task. Already, Yachting Magazine has done a feature on this story, and the BBC has done several interviews. He has prepared a full 360 project of music, TV, book, and digital portals to put on a global spectacular, so that after the UN presentation, we can pass the baton across the time zones and demonstrate what peace sounds like when United Nations work together in concert.
up.
It's that same pun.
stupid
It's the same
bullshit.
pun.
They did it again.
We all...
And they're
Dunno,
still
it's
on
a good
this.
pun. I'd use that all the time.
It's-
I should use that more.
Well, no, it's
Ryan, you
already...
don't
The problem
have
is
to
it's
throw them
already a
bone.
cliche.
You don't
No,
have to hand
I
it to 'em.
disagree. I disagree completely because in concert is like it's they
That's where
have
it comes
kind
from.
of the same root.
That's
like
the
that
origin.
doesn't.
Yeah,
no,
that's the origin.
it's not. It's not a good pun.
Guys, if you want to see
It's
me
not
on
a
the
good
podcast,
pun.
or if you want to see me more on the Warrens, the podcast of sorts, please leave a concert to say how Ryan works really
concert.
well in
A concert?
That's what he said. He said, please
Write
leave
a concert
to
about
say-
how much you want Ryan to be on
Guys,
the
fucking
podcast
hell,
again.
I'm so
God.
tired. I'll edit it in so it says comment.
No,
We
you
all
leave
know.
it like that.
No, you
don't,
leave
no,
it.
don't you dare edit that out.
Look, I edit this shit. This is what happens.
Ryan, if we have to sound like jackasses, you have to sound like a
Yes.
jackass too.
You know what? You know, I'm saying now, I don't think you should edit a single fucking thing. I think this, when we stop recording this, you put the 3 tracks together and you ship it. I don't think you should cut out a
Just a
single
black screen.
I'm not kidding. Don't cut out a single fucking thing. Not a single. Leave it. No, leave the first one.
We all know what war sounds like, but what about peace? His current album includes 3 major new works for the orchestra, all paying tribute to sport. It is a 2-hour program and enough for a double CD album.
Fred, they're shilling it as part of written evidence for an educational committee. They're shilling it for an educational committee in front
She
of an
is.
educational committee.
Sporting Classics, a royal tribute. Overture to Sport, 15 minutes long. Equestrian Concerto for cello, 45 minutes long. Yachting Symphony, 55 minutes long. If the Australian Broadcasting System would like to do a TV documentary on this, he would be happy to come down and conduct the program for you. You can read about this at his website, follow his blog, and keep up with the tweets at www.MusicOlympia.com. To conclude then, we did not move to the noisy and congested city, but stayed in the lovely English countryside, far away from any music conservatory where our son could actually listen to what it sounds like to grow up fit and healthy in the UK today. If he needed a textbook on notation...
Whoa, that sentence meaning's absolutely screwed. That sounds like they took him far away from the conservatory where he could actually listen to what it sounds like to grow up fit and healthy.
Yeah,
in the
saying
UK.
that, like, grow...
Like, that's bad. That's a bad thing. That's an objectively bad thing you said. Like, that's not good. That's not a selling point. That's not...
It's the most true thing written so far.
Yo. They told the truth by accident.
Oops. If you needed a textbook on notation or orchestration, for instance, that was easy to obtain. There was also the internet for asking questions, and we found wonderful instrumental teachers nearby, so we developed firsthand a love of performance. The same...
My time at the conservatoire, Birmingham Conservatoire where I studied, is like the most precious time of my life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I feel so incredibly privileged I got to go there. And this makes me really, really sad. Also, this almost has the quote. There's a quote from Alan Partridge where he says, "The internet has rendered any degree completely useless." I can get up to a degree level with 5 minutes and a quick search of Wikipedia.
The same held true also in sport, as I have mentioned, especially with the riding and sailing. We insisted on keeping learning as part of loving, that this was how God loved us by giving us this beautiful creation to explore, and to give thanks and use it properly, care for it, and contribute to it.
Fred,
he began to think...
We helped nurture our son's love of yachting and boating by keeping him as far away from water as possible.
As far away from anyone who could teach him how to yacht as possible.
Yeah.
We just kind of threw him at the rigging and told him to wing it.
I don't know. I guess you could do that on rivers. Like maybe there's a river.
The sea is surprisingly kind. Nobody's ever died at sea.
He began to think what he could give back and how his passions could be employed in that gesture. He learned how a person can grow up integrated with the chance to bring his physical and spiritual sides together. In the public school system, the spiritual side of a person is entirely forgotten, and it is just a materialistic world that is taught. That means children in the state system end up with half a deck, a terrible disadvantage, only if you're being a bad parent.
Unless you're playing Balatro, then that's a good
I was going to say, this metaphor is awful.
In our home education, we eliminated the word teach and substituted the word learn. As a result, our son learned the lessons that sport and music taught him, that he must realign the melodies of the mind, the harmonies of the heart, and the rhythms of the body for peak performance. That that she was like fucking wanking to like the fact that she wrote that. Like, she's so proud of that sentence. The same rules apply for a champion athlete as for a champion composer. This means that for you down under in Australia, young people can arrive at this same turning point, a place where light is born out of fire, where the body's one bridge can burst into star with gifts to shower the night. What?
She on
a
drugs?
Place where light is born out of fire, where the body's one bridge can burst into star with gifts to shower the night.
Well, what?
What?
Well, in conclusion,
Bolton has not been seen on the internet since 2019, but this went on for nearly over 10 years, this whole business. And I think this document ending with essentially an advertisement for his piece is a remarkable kind of
maybe he's in
bottom
Australia.
line to this whole thing.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. You both here right now, and everyone listening. I have, on occasion, gotten messages from people saying, "Do a video on me." I want those people to know the deep disdain that I have for them. It is one thing to suggest an interesting topic, and in fact, many of my topics have been suggested by viewers. That's where I learned of them. Do not tell me to make a video on you. As an alternative, I would recommend jumping into a caldera.
Isn't a caldera like a dead volcano, though?
Is it? Well, calderas are still hot.
Is it still hot? I don't know. I don't. I'm legitimately.
I'm gonna
asking
double
him.
check.
He's saying.
I don't know why you're saying Mike, because it's
Okay,
getting beat
let's
out.
just cut to the chase.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay. No, you know what? Let me. You know what? Cut that out. That sounded stupid.
Jump into a volcano. Just say jump into a volcano.
Just jump into. This isn't worth it.
Jump into a volcano, but with a life preserver on.
Rather than telling me to make a video on you, I'd recommend jumping into a volcano.
With a life preserver on.
Yeah, for
he
safety.
doesn't want you to get hurt.
Because I care about your well-being.
Well, now, at this point, first here's the journey I went through personally. I was very annoyed by him. Then I went to being absolutely repulsed and angered by him. And now I kind of just have pity. At the end, after seeing how, his parents really did this to him, now I just feel bad. Now I just nothing but pity. I hope he's out there living a somewhat decent life.
Where is he? Well, maybe he got on a yacht and sailed into the horizon and was never seen from again, like playing penis music on a flute the whole time.
There was an instrument that you kept saying that about. I think it was like some sort of xylophone or something, like some sort of plinky percussion
There
instrument.
was a xylophone in it.
Glockenspiel?
Yeah. Was it the Glockenspiel? Every time he kept, he kept saying it was. That's what made you think it was penis music.
I think I'm going to say like one of the darkest things that's ever been said on the Warrens. Do you remember in Better Call Saul, Mike gives that speech where he's like, "I broke my boy," and he's in tears because he ruined his son?
Yeah, I actually do. I do remember that.
Because he made his son like a dirty cop. This is like that.
Yeah.
I cannot believe how someone could write down that they took the opportunity to study at a conservatoire at any age from a child, from anybody. That's like an absurd thing to admit. almost criminal
and to be proud of
negligence at this point.
Yeah, these are some very disturbed people.
I think if Bolton,
Like,
I
this
can't
is-
promise
yeah.
any. It's very difficult to be a composer. It's a very competitive world, and I'm actually uniquely. No, I wouldn't say uniquely successful.
He would have
but
at least had a chance.
I'd,
You're going to say he would have.
he would have had a
with
chance
some
because his
mitigation.
music he was writing at that age was okay. It was okay. It would maybe have not got him into. I think the problem is his attitude would probably put people off, and I think the music was potentially not good enough to get him into university. But if he had taken like a year or two, improve on what he was doing to write more pieces, he would have definitely been in a position to get an offer.
I think that this is in part a symptom of if I improve, that means I wasn't already the best.
There's something, I think the idea of making a masterpiece is a very dangerous one. And I think the idea that you decide if you've made a masterpiece is like a very, very dangerous one. And I wonder if that's what he thought he'd done. He'd made something that was so special and important. And in reality, it's just a very, very mediocre piece of music. It's very mediocre.
Mm.
That's almost worse than it being bad. But, you know, for somebody who is his age, it's fine. He should probably have been slightly further along.
It should have been nurtured, developed.
Should have been nurtured and developed. You know, if this is true, this document is true that he was offered, you know, scholarships for conservatoires, not taking those is an enormous act of sabotage.
Yeah, it's insane.
Mhm.
That's so sad. So I'm saying I just have pity for him.
Yeah.
What a peculiar man.
Oh, damn. You think it's ever happened that somebody's first composition is a banger that, you know, defines their
No.
career?
It's
like
no.
Why would you think it would be different for you? Like, why would his? I mean, he believes it. Not only does he believe it about himself, obviously his parents believe it about him.
Yeah.
And what he's done, and that has caused him to believe it.
Yeah. I think I have maybe hundreds of pieces of mine that have never been performed. I wrote as
Hundreds.
a young kid,
Yeah,
you know.
hundreds.
Yeah. Sketches, full pieces, all kinds. I have hundreds of pieces that I've written like as a professional that have not been performed. There are loads of pieces I really like want to get performed. I just never got round to it, you know, never got round to organizing it, or it was going to be performed and then it fell through. I have lost pieces that one of my computers broke and I just didn't back up some of the files. Some of my pieces were just never preserved. I think I looked and I wrote nearly 12 hours of music this year, maybe more, and that's maybe 100 pieces of music. In my career, I've probably written over 1,000 pieces, and like, some of those pieces are bad, some of them are good, some of them are like some of my early pieces I wrote were like really good, and I repurposed them later on because it's like a crappy piano piece, and I was like, well, I can write this. Like some of my guitar duos are pieces I wrote as a child and I reworked into more modern pieces, but I just you know, this is not the way to do it, and I guess if I was to speak to Bolton directly, I would say that you do have potential as a musician, as a composer, but you have a lot to learn. You know, that's not only true from like an academic point of view. This is a really, really difficult job. It's one of the toughest jobs you can learn to do. You have a lot to learn, but as a composer, as a human being, we as composers always have a great deal to learn. And we're constantly learning from other people. If you stop learning as a composer, you become irrelevant. I mean, do you have such a low opinion of our art form that you think it could be mastered in less than a lifetime? In less than 10 lifetimes? You think you could master it by the age of 14, 15? You can't just learn to be a composer. It's a lifetime of exploration. It's a never-ending ocean. That's the beauty of it. And that's what makes it such a great art form. Part of me wishes I could start this journey again, my journey of discovery with it, because learning composition has been such a magical experience. And I think that's the position you are in. You have to rediscover music if you want to have a career doing this. You have to start from the position that you don't know anything and you have to learn everything. That's the only way you have a future in this. And I don't know if you have the attitude, the personality that's able to make that kind of choice, that decision. I hope you do, though.
Hold up. I just Googled him. I got a hit. Bolton Browne. He's now a professional sloth thrower, and he's going to compete in the Olympics this year. He's going to be throwing sloths at what is it, Beijing?
No, that's Los
Where's it
Angeles.
I mean Los Angeles. Yeah, he's going to be throwing sloths at the Olympics in Los Angeles.
It's actually in America.
It turns out that there was one animal he respected more as an animal than the horse, and it was the noble sloth. He's going to be chucking those bad boys around at the Summer Olympics this year. Crazy. Wow. Beijing. Guys, we're at 4 hours and 10 minutes. We got to wrap this.
Yeah. It's been
All
such a
right.
pleasure, though, guys. It's
Well,
so nice
hey,
talking to you.
Ryan,
This
thank you
is
so much for
madness.
joining us for this one. This was an absolute blast. What a ride you brought us on. Thank you so much,
You're
man.
so welcome.
Lots of fun.
No, thank you for compiling all of this and for dredging
And
it
it
up
was
for
cut
us.
down, believe it or
Like this
not.
is such
It
a
was cut down.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, this is going to be a long one, viewers. So I'm going to say thank you for sticking
Good
with
of you
us
to warn
the,
them at the
bitter
end.
end.
This is going to be a long one, guys.
Appreciate. I'm sure you're going to end up keeping a lot of what we did. So, folks, thanks for listening. Fred, thanks for hanging out with me, and of course, Ryan, thanks for putting this one together for us. And yeah, have a beautiful night, everybody. Ryan, why don't you play us out with some something a little bit better composed than Bolton's.
Give us
solo
penis,
song.
yes. That ditty lives in my head rent free.